Hello, guys. You hear me, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So we're going to start with this last part that we were talking about, and we're going to follow the methodology that our coordinator told me, at least today. And the next practice class, we're going to find out how to do it the way Valeria said, which we all think it's better, right? So let's get started. Okay, so this will be, as you know, there's a lot of information about body functions because it would take a whole subject which would be physiology. So we're going to finish today with the urinary system, especially the part of the most complex one, right? Which would be nephrology. So let's get started. Right after that, we're going to start with the practice class. Okay, so let's go on. So as we are talking about the urinary system now, it would be divided right in two specialties that are quite big. Uh, the first one would be nephrology, and following an anatomical order. The second one would be urology. Okay, so let's get started with nephrology. Okay, so we all know a quote that says that the kidneys, that are these organs right here, right? The kidneys are like filters in our bodies, which are responsible for taking the some waste products and get rid of them, right? So we have three main types of food that we get our energy from, right? These are the carbohydrates, the lipids, and proteins. When we are talking about the metabolism of carbohydrates and lipids, what's what we get at the end? We get energy, water, and carbon dioxide, right? Uh, by the way, we don't usually use the word carbohydrates, although it's the correct way of saying it, of calling this kind of molecules. However, we usually in a usual conversation we use the term carbs, right? So you can call the carbohydrate a carb, right? So, as I was saying, we have three main types of food, which are carbs, lipids, and proteins. According to the metabolism of both the carbohydrates or carbs and lipids, we get energy, water, and carbon dioxide. This last one is eliminated of the body through respiration, right? We also talked about it yesterday, right? And when we talk about the metabolism of proteins, we get that's what we get at the end of this protein metabolism is energy, water, and nitrogen waste products. These nitrogen waste products can only be eliminated, or our body only can get rid of them through the kidneys, okay, through the urine. So here we have a phrasal verb that is get rid of. Does anybody know what get rid of is? I mean, we already used it. Hello, guys. Anybody? Does anybody know what get rid of means? It's a phrasal verb.
Sería como deshacerse de
Yes.
algo.
Okay.
Like throw away.
Okay. Yeah.
Sí, como encargarse de cierta cosa.
It's like when you don't want something anymore, you get rid of it, right? like you have an empty can of I don't know, any kind of soda, and you get rid of it when it's empty, right? Yes, you're all right. So let's go on. So here we have the structures that are related to the kidney. So here we have, well, first of all, the kidney is, well, has two main parts, right? Which are the cortex and the medulla. That's the pronunciation, medulla, okay? And well, when we're talking about the cortex, we have a lot of structures that are related to it. However, they are related in a microscopic way. So here we have a macroscopic look. We're taking a macroscopic look at the anatomy of the kidney. Here we can see the Malpighi pyramids, right? Which are like cone structures, right? In between two Malpighi pyramids, we have an extension of the cortex, which are the Bertin columns, right? You all know this. Then we have, if you can see this structure in white, this is the renal capsule, right? You all know this. And just around this renal capsule, we all have a fascia, right? Does anybody know what this fascia is called? Which is like a greasy structure, greasy fascia. It has a proper name. Anybody, guys? The Gerota fascia, right? So just around the renal capsule, we have the Gerota fascia. Here we have, as you all know, the hilum. That is what this is called. The renal hilum. What structures go through the hilum? Well, we have the renal artery, the renal vein, and the renal pelvis, which turns into the urethra, right? So here we have a mnemonic, which in Spanish you all know because we use this kind of trick to remember things, right? Especially in anatomy, to remember the branches of some artery or some nerve or different structures that are related, right, to a specific topic. So here we have mnemonic. Notice the pronunciation. It's like the M is silent and you just call it mnemonic, okay? So what does this mnemonic can help us with? This is a mnemonic that is related to the structures of the renal hilum from anterior to posterior, right? So here we have the vein, the artery, and the pelvis. So the most anterior structure would be the vein, the middle one, the artery, and the most posterior one would be the pelvis, right? So when we talk about the structures that we already described, here we have, let's just get started with the cortex, okay? The cortex, and this is important because does anybody know what are the dimensions of the cortex? Okay, it's around 1 centimeter, okay? So what is this useful for? The cortex is 1 centimeter of length, okay? Because this is important because when we have disease which is well, we have acute kidney failure and then we have chronic kidney failure, right? When there is chronic kidney failure, the cortex gets thinner, okay? You remember the difference between thick and thin, right? They're opposites. So this the cortex is 1 centimeter thick, and it gets thinner when a person has chronic kidney disease. Okay, so that's the importance. Um, Here in the cortex, we have the glomerulus. In plural will be the glomeruli. Okay, so this cortex is important because it has the most important microscopic structures, which are the nephrons, right? At least the part where, as we are going to see, the nephron has two main parts, right? The Malpighi corpuscle and the tubules. So the Malpighi corpuscle or renal corpuscles are in the cortex. So that's why this is important. Okay, when we get to the medulla, to the renal medulla, uh, it has, as we were talking, the Malpighi pyramids, right? And they're around uh, 10 to 18, and they're conic structures, 10 to 18 for each kidney, okay? And it, as they are like, well, similar to pyramids, they have a base and they have like a point, right? The point is facing to the medial line, and the base is related to the cortex, right? So the the vertex of each Malpighi pyramid is facing the renal pelvis, right? And in the next slide, we're going to see how it relates to the pelvis. Here we have a renal papilla, okay? Renal papilla. This is where the pyramids relate to the pelvis. These little holes that you see, I'm sure you can see them. These ones, right, are the Bellini ducts. Okay, so as we were saying, does anybody know what renal lobe is? Okay, a renal lobe is like one Malpighi pyramid related to the cortex that is next to it. Okay, that is a renal lobe. Uh, I think we talked about everything else. Okay, so here, as we said, we have the Bellini ducts and the renal papilla, right? Facing the renal pelvis. So as we were saying, the nephron is the main functional unit of kidneys, and we can describe it as one structure, as a microscopic structure, which is formed by the association between one Malpighi corpuscle or renal corpuscle, here we have it, and a system of tubules, right? Both form a nephron, as you already know, right? So each kidney has, well, both kidneys have around 1.6 million nephrons, okay? It depends, of course. I mean, there are theories in which, for example, in newborns that are premature, there is not, well, there is well, there are less nephrons in the kidneys of that newborn. So that is one theory which says that these kids, that premature children, uh, have more risk of developing hypertension when they're adults. So this would be a theory that is not widely confirmed, but it's a theory that has a lot of reasoning to do, and I mean it's a good theory, right? Because it's related to to blood pressure. So both kidneys, as I was saying, have around 1.6 millions of nephrons. Um, and each renal lobe that I already said was the association of Malpighi pyramid to the cortex that is next to it has around 160,000 nephrons each. Okay, the Malpighi corpuscle, which you are seeing on your left, and mm, the system of tubules that are on your right, uh, are related to both the cortex and the medulla. However, this one, the renal corpuscle and the proximal. So someone just joined. Okay, so the renal corpuscle and the convoluted tubule, that is its name for túbulo contorneado proximal, right? So the proximal convoluted tubule and the distal convoluted tubule and the proximal part of the collector tubule are in the cortex, okay? And the loop of Henle, okay, loop of Henle, and most part of the collecting tubule are structures that are related to the medulla. You already know that. There is a reason why this loop of Henle is related to the medulla. So we're going to talk about it further in this class. So for us to understand like the function of well related to the kidneys and well, one of the functions of the kidney, we have to remember about, well, we have to remember the startling forces, right? In any capillary of the body, we have like two main pressures, the hydrostatic pressure and the oncotic pressure. They are opposites, right? So what happens, what does the hydrostatic pressure do? It helps some fluid inside a vessel to go through the endothelium to the interstitium, right? And the oncotic pressure is the opposite. So it makes some fluid that is outside the vessel in the interstitium to go inside the vessel, right? In this case, the capillary. So as this is an interesting and important concept, especially the hydrostatic pressure that we already talked about, due to the next reason. Here we have the renal corpuscle, right? And the renal corpuscle has like two main parts, okay? The Bowman's capsule, this one, which also has two layers, and we have here we have the capillaries, right? This is the afferent artery, right? So here we have another tissue, the mesangial cells, right? Right in between the capillaries. So what is this important for? Well, here we have the Bowman's capsule, right? Which has the letter A on top of it. So the Bowman's capsule has, as I was saying, two main layers. One is a peripheral layer that only has a simple epithelium, okay, and one internal layer. This one, you see like pikes, right, around the capillaries. These are the podocytes, right? The podocytes. And here we have the mesangial cells, okay, between the capillaries. So here we have, this is a book that I usually read, which is in Portuguese. However, if you want me to pass it on the Facebook, on the WhatsApp group, I can share it because it has a lot of good information. It's concrete, and I'm sure it would help you. Okay, so here we have a capillary, and here we have a podocyte, right? It has like feet, right? That is why this is called podocyte. So here we have another, well, this is a schematic and this is an actual picture. So here we have a lot of capillaries which are wrapped, they are surrounded by the podocytes, right? It's like they embrace, it's like they hug, they're hugging a capillary. So here we have these small spaces through which it's going to happen the filtration, right? Which is the, well, the first, not the main, but the first step for the formation of urine. So here we have an actual picture of the filtration barrier, which in Spanish would be barrera de filtración glomerular, right? We all read about it. So this is like usually asked in any kind of tests, right? I'm sure in physiology, uh, you must have had this kind of questions. What are the structures related to the filtration barrier? So this is it. Here we have the podocytes, okay? They are the feet of the podocytes, right here. The structures that are above the others. Here we have the basal membrane and the endothelium. That's it. I mean, that's piece of cake, right? It's easy. So here we have the capillaries. Here we have, this is the fenestrated. Okay, it's similar to Spanish, right? Fenestrated. And this is the basal membrane. And here we have with the red arrows, here we have the podocytes. Okay, so that would be it. And here with the blue arrows are pointing, and does anybody know what cell this is or this are, right? Pointing the blue arrows. Anybody? Okay, anybody, guys? These are the mesangial cells, okay? They're related to given the podocytes and yeah, usually, well, most importantly, podocytes, the mesangial cells give the podocytes structure, they give support, okay? And they're also related to some kind of diseases, okay? Antibodies tend to reach and stay in the surface of the cells, which leads to some kinds of disease, which we're going to talk about later on in this course, okay? So we already talked about the Malpighi corpuscle, then now we have to talk about the renal tubules, okay? As you already know, we have four main sections, which are the proximal convoluted tubule, right here, right after the corpuscle, right? Here's the corpuscle, and then we have the proximal convoluted tubule. Then we have the loop of Henle, right here. The distal convoluted tubule, right here, right after the loop of Henle, right in red. And the last tubule section would be the collecting duct, okay? Or collecting duct or tubule. Each one has a main function, right? Here we have the juxtaglomerular apparatus, just like in Spanish, guys. Juxta glomerular apparatus. So what is this part of the tubule related to? To the distal convoluted tubule. Okay, here we have the distal convoluted tubule, and it's like it's going back, right? Here is the afferent artery. Okay, so the in this section of the tubule, which is the distal convoluted tubule, goes, it's like it's going back to the direction of the tubule, but it makes contact with the the artery, the afferent artery. Okay, we're going to take a closer look in the next slide. Here we have the juxtaglomerular apparatus, and here it is, right inside this rectangle. Okay, so what cells are related to it? Here we have the afferent arterioli, okay, arterioli, and these are the macula densa, right? And here we have the distal convoluted tubule, which are related to the juxtaglomerular cells, and together the macula densa and juxtaglomerular cells form the juxtaglomerular apparatus, right? What is it important for? I mean, there are some parts of the tubules that are related to some specific ion reabsorption. So when here inside this corpuscle, it filtrates, right, from the arteries, filtrate. So here we have a fluid in this space, which is the urinary Bowman space, right? So here inside this space, we have filtrate fluid, which goes to the tubule apparatus, to the tubule section of the nephron. And when it reaches the distal convoluted tubule, this structure, the apparatus, senses, it's like a sensor. So it senses the amount of, or the concentration of sodium, right? So when it detects any kind of disturbation in sodium levels in this fluid, which is inside the tubule, it is related to the secretion of some, well, in this case, it's related to an axis of hormones, right? So here we have the, in Spanish would be sistema renina angiotensina aldosterona, right? And at the angiotensin, which is released by this uh, juxtaglomerular apparatus, reach the efferent arterioli, okay? And what's the main difference between the afferent and the efferent arterioli? The afferent arterioli has more muscle cells than the afferent arterioli. So what happens? When angiotensin reaches the efferent arterioli, it contracts because it has more muscle cells, right? It contracts, and, we still have the heart is still pumping, right? So it's like we close or block this arterioli, but we still have blood flow through the afferent arterioli. So the pressure inside the capillaries increase, especially the hydrostatic pressure that we already talked about, right? So it increases the hydrostatic pressure and makes a higher filtration. Okay, that is how it works. So let's go on. It's really easy, right? So how does urine form? We already talked about glomerular filtration, right? Then we have tubular absorption or reabsorption. Okay, so in the glomeruli, the fluid filters, then reaches the tubular section of the nephron. And inside the nephrons, inside the tubules, I'm sorry, there's absorption through the epithelium, right? And some fluid and some ions and some molecules are secreted by this epithelium. Okay, so the addition of glomerular filtration plus, or in this case, less tubular absorption plus the tubular secretion, we have urine, right? So here we're going to talk about a little bit about glomerular filtration rate, which in Spanish would be tasa de filtración glomerular, right? So all the glomeruli in our kidneys tend to filter around 140 liters each day. That's a huge amount of fluid, right? If we convert this into another type of units, we have the glomerular filtration rate is around 80 to 120 milliliters per minute. Okay, you already know this. So we reach the tubular reabsorption in the proximal convoluted tubule. Here we have, the most important part here is that the cells, the epithelial cells in the proximal convoluted tubule are related to the absorption of 2/3 of the fluid that just reached the glomerular filtration, okay? And there are some others, ions, like here we have sodium, right? And we still have glucose, and that is not represented here. And this one, this is important because here we have a diuretic that acts in this enzyme right here. Does anybody know what kind of drug this is? That is diuretic, which acts right here in the proximal convoluted tubule. Here in La Paz, we use it a lot for people who come from low altitude regions. Okay, so mainly people from Europe. We got a lot of tourists right here, and most of them have some kind of disease, disadaptation to high altitudes, right? And here we use a diuretic, which is in Spanish, I'm going to say in Spanish, acetazolamida, right? This is a diuretic. It acts here, okay? So next we have the loop of Henle, in which which is really important for the osmolarity of the fluid. And I told you there is a reason why this structure, the loop of Henle, reaches the medulla. Okay, so when we have the outer and the inner medulla, there's a lot of different pressures. So the fluid inside the tubule gets mostly in the descending loop, it absorbs water. So you get it, right? When the fluid is going through the descending part of the loop of Henle, the epithelium in its wall absorbs mainly water. So the fluid that remains here increases its osmolarity, because here it is only absorbing water, right? It's like more concentrated. In the ascending part of the loop of Henle, usually it is associated with the absorption of this molecule, right? So when we get to the distal convoluted tubule, it is associated. Yes. Is anybody speaking? I'm hearing someone here talking. Okay, let's go on. So in the distal convoluted tubule, we have, well, it is related to the absorption of magnesium and the excretion of potassium, right? So in the last part, which would be the collecting duct, it is associated with the absorption of water. It is also important for another hormone. It's important because these cells have receptors for one specific type of hormone related to the absorption of water, which would be in Spanish, hormona antidiurética, right? Here, these epithelial cells have um, its receptors in these cells, okay? So uh, I think that would be it, guys. And I think yeah, it's easy, right? So I think I know that you all understood because you already read about this kind of topics. So let's get started with the practice class. We're going with, okay, let me, does anybody have a question before we finish this part until, well, we have all your classmates are in this meeting? Does anybody have a question about pronunciation especially? Because we just saw a lot of structures. Okay, so yes, anybody? Hello? Yes, I'm
Can you
listening.
hear me?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. Could you repeat it, please? There's a voice, I think, behind you that doesn't let me hear. Hello? Hello, guys. I just heard someone speaking. I didn't catch it. Okay. Does anybody have a question?
No.
I think it was someone's little sister, right? Okay, so let's get started with the practice class. So we're going to begin in our list, following our list. Who's going to be the first? Sorry. Mm, okay, is Bianca Elena Barrientos Moran here? Okay, is Danitza Burgoa Campos here? Guess she's not. Is Diana Gabriela Gonzalez here? There's a ton of absences. Valeria, are you here?
Yes.
Okay, Valeria Guerra, right?
Yes.
So guys, I'll see you in 15 minutes. Let me just here talk to Valeria. Everybody else, just please, I will let you know when to join back this meeting. Please, could you please leave the meeting? The rest, I'm going to let you know when it's your turn, okay? So we're going to wait for them to leave the meeting so we can get started. Okay, it's now only the both of us. Valeria, how are you doing?
Fine, fine. And you?
Fine, thank you. So I see your phone number seems weird here. I have a list and your phone number is like, your code is 503, right? You're from El Salvador.
Yes.
Okay, Valeria, let me know, is there any question? Is there any pronunciation doubt that you might have?
Yes, maybe with the last system we saw, the urinary,
Okay,
los,
I'm going to start
ajá,
sharing my screen again. Okay, so
okay.
we can go together.
Mm,
No, this one. You can see my screen now, right?
no, just like Alvaro Marcelo is sharing. I don't know why I
Oh,
can't.
no.
Okay, oh yes.
Okay. So what part would we be talking about?
The ones of the los túbulos con torneado proximal, that one I didn't understand how, I mean, like the pronunciation.
Okay.
Tubular,
This one, right? This would be the one.
tubular reabsorption and proximal convolute.
Okay. Let's
No.
get started with tubular. Okay. The first U sounds two. Okay. The second one, it's like you have an I between the U and the L. Okay, and then it would be tubular.
Tu-
Tubular.
Okay.
Okay,
Tubular.
tubular reabsorption. That is easy, right? It's kind of
Yeah.
it resembles Spanish. So here's your main doubt, I guess. Proximal convoluted. It's like the U that we were talking about here. Convoluted, right?
Convoluted.
That is the correct pronunciation, yes. And it would be the same pronunciation here, right? Tubule.
Tubule. Okay.
Yeah, that's great. So the next one, it would be the same, right?
Tubular. Which one? Distal convoluted tubule.
Great, you did great. Yes, that would be the correct pronunciation. Okay, do you have any other doubts?
Mm,
I
you
mean,
was urine, right?
not
You
only
or
urinary,
urinary,
urinary.
pero orina es como urine, right?
Yes, right, urine. Yes. Do you have any other doubts? I mean, it is not only the urinary system, but we saw a lot of other systems, right? We were talking about
Yeah, maybe with
cardiovascular.
the it was bronchi, right? Los bronquios, esa parte un poco de la bronchus or bronchi. I don't remember it if it's
Okay, here,
bronchi,
this one, right?
bronchi. Yes, that one.
Okay, so when we're talking, let me show you another. Sorry. No, there's no other slide. So here we
No, but that's
have,
fine.
okay, here we have, yes, you can call it bronchi. It's correct. Okay. However, when we use this I, it usually means plural.
Right.
Okay. However, it is correct to say primary bronchi. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, this one would be bronchial. It's like a Q, right?
Bron
CH sounds like a Q, so bronchial.
bronchial. Okay.
Okay, this is tree, which means in Spanish árbol, right? It's
Yes.
similar to what we usually speak. Any other question?
Lungs. No.
Yeah,
Just that.
lungs.
Lungs.
Okay, is everything good with digestive system?
They just maybe oropharyngeal. Maybe la faringe.
Okay.
La faringe. That one. Bueno, deglution and then. Ahí creo que
Okay,
se.
okay. It's in Spanish is deglución, right? In English it would be deglutition.
Deglutition.
Deglutition, yes. Okay, as you can see it in the slide, it's
Mhm.
deglutition. So here we have the, well, you mean the pharynx, right? You know,
But that we can uh,
the
review that one.
PH,
Naso.
okay, this this one would sound like an A, so it would be
Mhm.
nasopharynx. And the A here, you see the pointer, right?
Yes.
The A here sounds like between an A and an E. I mean, you must have read any kind of dictionary. It helps you with pronunciation. In this case, it would be something like this. Here, an A, right? And then we have an E connected. That's
Mhm.
what helps us to how to pronounce words. In this case, this would be nasopharynx between an A and an E.
Mhm.
Okay,
Nasopharynx.
yes, nasopharynx. Oropharynx, notice I'm going to say in Spanish, okay?
Mhm.
Es importante la sílaba tónica. As you can see, it's nasopharynx, oropharynx, hypopharynx. Okay, pharynx is I think it's never related to this pronunciation, so it would be naso, oro, and hypo. It sounds louder, right? Than
Mhm.
pharynx. Pharynx is like you pronounce it uh, lower. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, so any other structures that we might be talking about here?
Vocal cords. No.
Okay,
Oh wait, epiglottis o ¿cómo se dice epiglottis?
sorry.
The one epiglottis.
Okay,
I
okay, epiglottis.
epiglottis.
Yes,
Okay.
notice the pronunciation, the PI,
P.
right, is higher pronounce. Epiglottis.
Okay.
Okay, it's like similar to Spanish. Uh, I'm going back, okay, so we can get
Okay.
rid of all your doubts since the beginning. Yeah, okay. Do you have any doubts here?
No.
Okay,
Fine.
here.
Here, Kevin. Mm-mm.
Do you want to, mm, would you
Say
read
it.
this? Yes.
Yes, sure. Superior vena cava. Sorry.
Okay, that is one word that some people might have a difficulty with. Superior, okay, like this E sounds like an E. Okay, so
Here. Uh-huh.
superior. Notice here how different this is.
Vein. Uh-huh.
Yes, we usually call any vein of the body, any other vein sounds like vein, right? Because
Uh-huh.
the meaning is vena, right?
Yes.
However, this one keeps its structure due to Greek. Okay,
Okay.
tiene su raíz griega. Okay, so it
Mhm.
respects it. So it is superior vena,
Vena
cava.
cava. Uh-huh.
Okay, superior vena cava.
Vena cava. Okay. Pulmonary vein. Uh-huh. Right atrium. Pulmonary bulb. Tri
Valve, yeah.
tri tricuspid. Right.
Yes. However, this U
Right.
mostly
Uh-huh.
sounds like between a U and an O.
Tricuspid.
Cuspid. Yes, it's not an U. It's not
Okay.
tricuspid. It's tricuspid. Yes, that is correct.
Tricuspid. Okay. Right ventricle. Yes. Uh-huh. Mitral valve.
Ventricle, this one would be inferior, right? Inferior vena
Superior
cava.
vena cava. Right ventricle. Aorta. Pulmonary artery. Left atrium. Mitral valve. Aortic
Yes.
valve. And left ventricle.
Yes, great.
Okay.
Here, do you have any kind of doubt?
Mm-mm.
Here we have a mistake in this image. Do you know what it is? Can you look for the mistake here?
Cat pumps blood, heart, the circular to the cardiovascular system. But No, I don't remember. No, I don't know.
Okay, so
Blood
here
vessels, carriers.
you were saying, I mean, you're close.
The S.
Yes, here we have blood vessels, right? We're talking here in plural. So
Plural.
what would be the? This is
Carry
the
blood.
verb. Yes, great. So we're talking in plurals, and hence it would be carry blood, right?
Mm.
It would be, we erase all this, the IES, and we write this, right? It would be
Mm-hmm.
carry blood. Yeah, that is
Carry.
piece of cake. You have a good pronunciation, let me tell you.
Thank you.
Yes. Do you have any doubt here?
Serum pericardium. No.
Could you read this, please? This one?
Serious pericardium.
No, it would be. How do you say this?
Mm, no, I don't know.
It's
Pera, uh-huh.
it would be, well, you this e sounds like just an e in Spanish, ceres. You read
Right.
in some other context, if you read a word which consists of SERUM, you would call it serum, right? So this is ceres
Uh-huh.
pericardium. Also notice the pronunciation here. It is not an it is not you. It's pericardium. Okay, between an O,
Pericardium.
and a U. Pericardium.
Pericardium.
Okay, great. Also, this one, it's people who would well don't have a good English level call it sac. It actually sounds like between an A and an E. It would be sac. Okay. Any other here? This one, I think you know this one because we already talked about the bone, right, and the skull.
Per, mhm. Parietal layer.
Uh, it is parietal.
Parietal, I'm sorry. Parietal.
Yes, great.
Parietal layer. Uh-huh.
Okay. Here, could you read this word?
Fibrous. Fibrous?
Fibers, right? You said
Fibrous.
fibers. Yeah, that is correct. So, any other word that you might have problems with?
Protein or the no, from
Okay.
that side no.
What about
Endocardium.
here?
No. Endocardium, coronary vessels, epicardium, cardiac muscle cells, connective tissue, collagen, uh, no, mm, myocardium.
Yes, great. It's like
Oh,
the word my, right? So myocardium.
myocardium. Okay.
Yes, correct.
Mhm.
This one?
Mm, deoxygenated, no, deoxygenated, right?
Deoxygenated. Deoxygenated.
Deoxygenated. Okay.
Okay, yeah, correct. You already know this. Coronary sinus, right? Sinus. You know
Sinus.
this.
Yes.
Uh, right atrium, you all know this. And this would be the opposite, right? Well, I mean, what would be the opposite of deoxygenated? It would be?
Oxygen. Oxygen. Oxygenated. No.
Yes, great.
Uh-huh.
Okay, great. Here, we already talked about this, right? How would you read this?
Because I know. Wait. Try. No, no, no sé. Se me
Right.
traba.
Yeah,
Tricuspid.
it's kind of tricky, right? It's kind of difficult. Tricuspid.
Tricuspid. Tricuspid valve.
Yes, great. You already know this. This one. What about this one? It's kind of tricky also.
Eh, no, no sé. Cord tendinitis. No, no sé. Cord, no sé.
Okay, it would be Cordia tendinea.
Tendinia. Cordia.
Cordia tendinea. Cordia
Cordia. Tendinia. Tendina.
tendinea.
Tendinia. Tendinia.
Cordia tendinea.
Cordia tendinia.
Yeah,
Okay.
great. Papillary muscles, right?
Yes.
Sure, you handle this pretty well. Any kind of doubts here?
No.
Pulmonary artery, it's
Cordia.
easy, right?
Pulmonary. Pulmonary tricuspid.
Okay. What about here?
It was alveolus, right? Alveolus.
Yes, alveolus. However, this U does not sound like an U. It sounds between a U and an O. Alveolus.
Alveolus.
Yeah, great. What about here? Would you like to read it?
Arteriola.
Arterioli.
Arterioli. Okay.
Okay, arterioli.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sure you know this, but still going to ask you, okay? What is the difference between smaller and smallest? You can say it in Spanish. I mean, it would be easier.
Lo de I don't como algo más pequeño que small, no sé.
Okay.
De los adjectives.
Okay, yes, you're going great.
Que no sé cómo explicar.
Okay, so here we have an adjective,
Los,
right?
los regular, los comparativos, que no me acuerdo cómo.
Yes, to compare, right?
Los comparativos, los
Yes, great.
comparative forms.
Okay, so smaller, what would smaller mean?
Smaller, like commonly.
What is the difference between smaller and smallest?
Sería que el EST, no sé cómo explicarlo.
Okay, let me do it. Okay. Okay, so
Sí.
okay, smaller here, the ER, right? We use it to compare something to something else, right? It is, for example, this book is smaller than the than mine, right? So we say this one is smaller. This is smaller in size, right? And this one is also to compare, but this one gives it a higher. It's like I'm going to say it in Spanish, okay? El más pequeño de todos, the smallest, okay? And in this case is when we're comparing just like two objects, okay? I'm going to say in Spanish again. Es más pequeño que otra cosa. En cambio, smallest es el más pequeño de todos.
De todos.
Okay, so arterioli are smaller than arteries, and also capillary are smaller than arterioli, but also capillary are the smallest of all vessels. You get it?
Yes.
Okay. Any other, this one, kind of tricky. In the red.
Hematosis?
Hematosis, okay? Hematosis. Okay, what about here? Any kind of doubt?
No.
Okay.
Veno was, ¿cómo se usa?
Venial.
Venial.
Venial. Okay. Yes. Like you had it as if you had
Venial.
an I in between the U and the L. Okay. Venial.
Okay. Venial.
Yes. Great. Here we also use the same structure that we used in the past slide. That with hematosis, it would be hemoglobin. Hemoglobin.
Hemoglobin. Mhm.
Okay. What about here? Oh, it's kind of easy, right? This one is
Pulmonary
easy.
circulation. Uh-huh.
Okay. Here.
Mitral valve.
Yes, mitral.
Uh-huh. Mitral valve. Um, what else?
Okay, so there's no other adapter here, right?
Cardiac. No.
Okay, we already talked about it. It's Cordia tendinia, right?
Cardiac tendinous.
Okay, so here,
Mm-hmm. No, it's fine.
okay,
Cystoid dies. Mm-hmm.
okay, yeah, that's great. Diastolic, right? Functions.
Diastolic and diastolic volume, stroke volume, and
Right.
end-stolic cardiac output.
Yes. So this is easy, right? What about this one?
Which one? Ejection fraction?
Ejection. Ejection. So
Ejection.
yes, the first E sounds like an E in Spanish. Yeah, this would
Okay.
be ejection fraction.
Ejection.
Yes, great. What else? This word it's kind of tricky for some people. This one,
Determinate. Determinate.
no. Here, this is a verb, right? So it would be determines. To
Determine.
determine, yeah.
Uh,
When we do not have this s at the end of the word, is the base form of the verb, right? Which would be determine.
determine.
Yes, great. Determines a reduced fraction heart failure. So this is some sort of classification according to the ejection fraction. What year are you in medicine?
Uh, Starting third year on January.
Okay, in third year.
Yes.
Okay, okay. So you're going to see this in cardiology. However, I'm sure this is going to work for real fine for you to this one especially. It's going to
Yes,
help
I
you
already
with.
saw them. Mhm.
Oh, great. Yeah. So
Yeah, I
I
started in
guess in
second year. Mhm.
pathophysiology, I guess.
I'm taking a patho this year.
Oh, great.
Mhm.
So it's going to be easier for you. So, uh,
Mhm.
any other question about this one?
No.
It's kind of easy. This is the main one here.
Fallopian tube, ovaries, cervical canal, no, canal, no,
Canal.
canal,
Yeah,
canal, cervix, vagina, uterine fundus,
fundus. Yes.
ovarian ligament,
Ovarian ligaments.
ovarian
Ligament. This will be fimbria. Okay,
fimbria,
fimbria.
uterus,
As if the E didn't
mhm,
exist, right? Fimbria. Uterus. Here, this is important. In there's difference between the pronunciation in English from the U.S. and English from the U.K., right? England. In England, they would pronounce this word uterus. Okay, the T is really strong. However, in U.S. English, uterus, it's as if
uterus,
the T would turn into a D. Okay.
uterus,
Yes, great uterus. Okay, then repeat. Here, what about here?
hypothalamus,
Yes, great. Hypothalamus.
anterior, no, I don't know how to say it.
anterior pituitary, just like in Spanish, pituitaria, right? Pituitary gland.
Pituitary.
Yes, great. Any other doubts?
No. Hormone. No. Luteinizing. Luteinizing.
Luteinizing, luteinizing,
Niacin. Okay.
luteinizing hormone, follicle stimulating hormone, gonadotropin hormones, right?
Luteinizing. Okay. Hormone.
Okay. Here.
Follicle. No.
Okay. We already talked about it. Cephalic, esophageal, oropharyngeal, esophageal. This word, how would you pronounce this?
This. No. This. Dysphagia. No.
Dysphagia.
Dysphagia. Ajá, es que el PH no.
Okay.
Dysphagia.
Okay. Any other word you might be having trouble with?
Oropharyngeal.
Pharyngeal.
Oropharyngeal.
Yes, great.
Oropharyngeal. Okay, esopharyngeal. No, that's.
Okay.
Cells. Globate parental. Chief.
Yes. You know what chief means, right? In Spanish would be like your boss. Boss means chief, jefe, right? Chief cells. Okay. I noticed you had problems with this one again. How would you call this?
Parietal. Parietal. No.
Yes, parietal.
Parietal.
Yes. The rest is easy, right? Gastrin, somatostatin, pepsinogen, gastric acid, mucus. Mucus, that's as if you had an I between the M and the U, mucus. Okay. What about this one?
Which one?
Any word that you might have trouble with?
Surgery. No. Enteric nervous system.
Yes. What does this mean? This is a kind of drug. Yeah, a family of drugs.
PPI.
Proton. You know omeprazole, right?
What?
Omeprazole. You know, right? Omeprazole. What kind of drug is that? It's a inhibidor de bomba de protones, right? In Spanish. In English would be proton. This P is proton pump. Yes, proton pump inhibitor.
Inhibitors.
Okay. The rest, I think you already know, right?
I already saw it. Yes.
Okay. What about this one? Oh, there's a huge mistake here. It says small intestine. It's large intestine, right? Sorry for that. Okay. Any other word?
No.
Okay. Oh, this is easy.
Human liver, gallbladder. Yes. Fine.
Okay. This we already checked it. This one. Yes. Alveolar space. How would you call this cell? This one. Could you please read this?
Pneumocyte.
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 Yes, pneumocyte. Okay. Type 2 pneumocyte. Interstitium. Well, I think this one.
Endothelium.
Great. There's nothing here to work with. What about here? I think we already finished, right?
Yes.
Would you give me an example with this phrasal verb?
Get rid of.
Yes.
Like in anything or like medicine applied.
Anything you want.
Ah, um, last night I was cleaning my room and I get rid of a lot of I get rid of a lot of shoes.
Okay, the context is great. However, you are talking about last night. You said last night, right? S-
I got rid of.
Yes, got rid of. Yes,
Uh-huh.
it would have to
Uh-huh.
be in the past form of the verb. Yes, great.
Yeah.
Okay. Here, any kind of doubts? How would you pronounce this one? This
Renal hilum.
one. Hilum.
Hilum.
Yes,
Uh,
renal hilum. Okay.
hilum.
And this word, if you look for this word in YouTube, you're gonna get a lot of different pronunciations for this word. Even there's a whole video to make people notice that a person reads this word in a different way than any other. I mean, there are like 10 people and they all say this word and they all say it differently. It's like some of them pronounce the M and some of them
Mande.
just take into account the N.
Then
The pronunciation about the sílaba tónica is also different. So I think what I just investigated is that you should ignore the M and call it mnemonic. Okay.
mnemonic. Okay.
Okay. So that is, I think, one of the last ones. What about this one? This little word here.
Uh, dots.
Yes, dots. Okay. I think that would be it. Or do you have any other doubts?
No.
Okay. Yes. So I think you're free to go now.
Okay. Bye.
Okay.
Have a good
Have a nice day. Oh well, rest of the evening. See you. See you
night.
on Monday, right? It's tomorrow.
On Monday. Yes.
Okay.
Bye.
See ya. Bye bye. So Marcela, you're here, right?
Hi.
Hello, Marcela. How are you doing?
Sorry, I can hear you. I don't know if you were talking to me.
Okay. How are you doing? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I'm doing.
Okay. So we're going to take into account your doubts. Is there anything you would like to ask me about pronunciation mainly? I'm going to start
Mm,
with the cardiovascular system, which is the first one that we saw, right? So
yeah,
here, you see my screen, right?
yes, I'm doing.
Okay, so do you have any doubts here?
Mm, Well, maybe to say the pronunciation of the Vina is Kava, right? That's I got a little
Okay, let me
Kava.
clear that. Okay, let me
Okay.
clear it. This we all talk about veins, right?
Yeah.
However, this both the superior vena cava and the inferior vena cava have a different pronunciation. It takes into account the Greek pronunciation, its Greek origins. Okay, so it
Mhm.
would be vena cava.
Vina Cava.
Oh, great. It's like between the A and the V, there's an E in between. Cava. Okay,
Cava. Okay.
so it would be, could you read it, please, the whole
Okay.
structure?
Superior Vina Cava.
Great, great. Any other word that you might have any problems with?
Mm, in this part, I think I don't have any doubt.
Okay, could you please read this one, this structure here?
Tricuspid valve.
Okay, it is actually tricuspid.
Tricuspid. Tricuspid. Okay.
Okay, the U here, the U right here that I'm pointing
Mm-hmm.
to, it does not sound U. Okay, it's like between an U and an O. It's like tricuspid.
Tricuspid.
Yeah. Okay. Uh, and this one. What about this one?
Mm, uh, would be like mitral or not?
It's mitral, actually.
Mitral. Mitral.
Mitral valve.
Mitral valve. Mitral valve.
Great. Okay. What about this one? Some people have some troubles with this one.
Aortic. Aorta. Right. No, it's not
Okay.
aorta.
Okay. Uh, in this word, it's as if the T here didn't exist.
Mhm.
So it would be aorta.
Aura.
Aorta. Okay.
Aura.
Okay.
Okay.
It would have that concept also would apply here. Aortic. No.
Auric.
Yes, it's like we're not pronouncing the T, right?
Uh,
As if the T didn't exist. Aortic.
auric.
Great.
Oh, so it will be aura and auric.
Aorta and aortic.
Okay.
Okay. Any other structures you might have problems with so far?
Mm, the pronunciation about atrium, it will be or not?
It would be atrium.
Atrium.
Okay.
Okay. Atrium.
Right atrium, left atrium. Okay. Okay. Do you have any doubts? Any other doubts about the structures shown here?
Mm, I think no, but maybe it will. I'm missing something, but now it's all right.
Okay. We're going to check every other slides to see any other doubts. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So what about here?
Mm, now here it's pronounced as visuals, right? The
Uh,
visuals.
it would be okay. Here we have this word, which is blood. Okay. In school, our teachers told us when we have two O's that are next to each other, it turns
Mhm.
into a U, right? It would be
Yes.
blood, as in what you said. Actually, here it is blood. Blood.
What is the difference?
Just the pronunciation between words. I mean, some of them just do turn into a U when it comes to
Mhm.
pronunciation. In some others, it just stays as the same. In this case, blood. Okay, it just has
Okay.
to do with the pronunciation of each word. Okay, blood means sangre, right? It is
Yeah.
blood. not blood. Okay, blood. And here is vessels, just as
Yes.
the word itself, vessels. Okay, so
Okay.
what would it be? Could you read it?
Blood vessels.
Great. Okay, so here we're speaking in plural, right? Because it has the S at the end, right? It's
Mhm.
vessels. So here's a mistake. I don't know if you noticed here.
Mm.
Blood vessels,
Yeah. Mhm.
what would be the correct form of the verb here?
Um, I didn't get you. Could you
Okay, yeah,
uh,
repeat.
career?
Okay,
Careers, sorry.
okay. Carry, which is the main form of the verb, would be this way. Okay, I'm going to write it. Okay. Oh, that's horrible. My writing is horrible.
Mm.
Okay,
Don't
so
worry.
it would be this way. Okay, carry. To
Carry.
carry is to llevar algo. Okay, to take something to some other place. Okay, llevar.
Yeah.
Okay, here we have the verb as if we were talking in singular, as if in only one person in singular, right? So when this happens, the base form of the verb, when we're talking about third person, like he, she, it, right? We change we keep the base form of the verb, but we replace this letter into ies. Okay, this happens with every verb, you know. For example, uh, run, it's correr, right?
Yes.
When I say I run, you run, but when they run, we run. Okay, but when we're talking, when we're saying about, well, when we're talking about third person, we change the base form of the verb and we replace this I with IES. So in the case of run, we just add an S at the end of the verb. So we would say he runs, she runs, it runs, right? When a verb ends in this letter here, we change, we replace this letter with IES. However, I told you there was a mistake because we're talking about in plural. We're saying vessels. And when we are talking in plural, we keep the whole verb. So it would be blood vessels carry blood, not carries. Did you get it?
So, but as I get it, is when we are talking about persons, it says as a plural way, as this example, he runs. But in this case, we're talking about like an object, so we keep the singular way, right?
I'm going to say it in Spanish for you to not get any doubts, ¿ok? Ok, entonces aquí tenemos el nombre acá es vasos, ¿no es cierto? Porque estamos hablando de vasos sanguíneos, ¿no es cierto? Entonces aquí vasos está en plural, ¿no es
Yes.
cierto? Entonces esto es en plural. Cuando hablamos en plural, el verbo tiene que quedarse en su forma base, que en este caso sería carry. Si estuviéramos hablando en singular, o sea, blood vessel, o sea, sin la S acá al final, entonces sí cambiamos la Y por la IES.
Okay.
En este caso tenemos blood vessels en plural, entonces mantenemos la forma base del verbo. Entonces sería el resultado blood vessels carry blood, porque carry aquí está, bueno, están sustituyendo la Y por la IES, que en realidad se usa para singular, pero acá estamos hablando en plural porque tiene la S, el nombre. So, is that clear?
Yes.
Okay, let's go into the next slide, okay? Do you have any
Mhm.
doubts here about pronunciation?
I don't know if you could repeat me the layers of the hair because I didn't get it at the first.
Okay, the layers, this one, right? Of the pericardium.
Mhm.
Okay, the pericardium has two layers, okay? The parietal layer and the visceral layer. This one is the visceral layer, and this is the parietal layer, okay?
Mhm.
Okay, do you have any doubts about it?
No.
Could
So in
you,
between, sorry, in between those spaces, it's like what is its name? Like in virtual in Spanish.
yes, it will be virtual, right? Yeah, it's a
Virtual.
virtual cavity, right?
Okay.
Okay, any other pronunciation doubt that you might have here?
Well, it's serous pericardium, or what is the
Yes,
pronunciation?
serous,
Okay.
yes, great. Serous
So,
pericardium.
and you say the layers are parietal layer and visceral layer.
Uh, this A sounds like an E, so it will be layer, layer,
Layer.
yes, layer. Okay, any other?
Mm, I think I don't have any other in this way.
Okay, what about this one?
Let me see. Mm, no, I think I don't have anyone.
Okay, just checking. It would be endothelium, right? The pronunciation between T and an
Mm,
H, it's like when you put your tongue between your teeth and you say endothelium, okay? That would be,
feeling.
this one also, it's myocardium, right? Myocardium,
Myocardium.
yes, great. Let's see the other one. This word is kind of tricky. Could you read it,
Yes.
please?
Well, I think it would be the oxygenated blood. Sorry,
Almost. It's deoxygenated. Okay? Deoxygenated.
deoxygenated.
Yes, great.
Okay.
You already know this, right? It's superior vena cava, right? What about this word here?
Um, coronary sinus. Sinus.
Sinus. Yes, great.
Sinus.
Sinus. This word,
Atrium.
atrium.
Atrium. Atrium. Okay.
Yes. This one you already know. Let's go on. What about this one? This is kind of tricky also.
Tricuspid
Great.
valve.
Yes, great. Yeah, what about this one? This is kind of tricky also.
I think I'm gonna fail on that one because it seems really hard. Cardiac tendon.
Cordia tendinia.
Card, cardiac tendinea.
Yes, great. This one is easy, right? Papillary muscles.
Yeah.
Uh, here, it's the same. It's easy. I don't think you have any doubts here, right? What about this one?
Mm,
Could you read this word, please?
arterial.
Arterioli.
Arterial. Arterial.
Arterioli. Great. Arterioli.
Arterial.
Okay.
Um,
What about this one?
alveolus.
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 It's like the E sounds like an E in Spanish. It's alveolus. Okay.
Alveolus.
What about this one?
Hemostasis.
No, read it, please, again.
Hemostasis. No.
No, it's hematosis. There's a difference between, I think you might have messed things up between the word homeostasis, right? And in Spanish, it would be the exchange of gases in Spanish is hematosis, right? In English is hematosis.
Hematosis.
Hematosis, yes, hematosis. Okay. Here, following the same logic, how would you pronounce this?
It would be hemoglobin.
Yeah, great. However, it's hemoglobin.
Hemoglobin.
It's like you have an U between the O and the B. Hemoglobin. Hemoglobin.
Hemoglobin.
Yes, great. Okay, this word is kind of tricky also. Could you read it?
Vinula.
It's venial.
Venule.
Yes, as if you had an I between the U and the L. Okay, venial. Okay, I think that's it. Here it's kind of easy, right? Could you read this one?
Lungs.
Lungs. Okay, great. What about this valve?
Mitral valve.
Great, great. You already know this is cordia tendinia, right?
Yeah.
Okay, here. Could you please read this one?
Arterioles.
Arteriolize. Okay, arteriolize.
Arterioles.
Okay. Okay, could you read this famous artery?
Aura. It would be as the same you told me at the beginning, like the T is silent.
Yes, great. Okay, okay, we already checked everything here. Any doubts here?
No.
Okay. What about here?
Could you give me the pronunciation of all the limbs?
Sorry?
Could you give me the pronunciation of all the like and dialysis?
Okay, all of them.
Diastolic.
Okay, it would be end diastolic volume. Repeat after me, end diastolic volume.
It's the volume. How do you say it?
Okay, volume, like
Volume.
as if you had an I between the L and the U. Volume.
Volume.
Yes, and diastolic volume.
And diastolic volume.
Great. What about this one? The next one.
It would be like a stroke volume
Great. Next one.
and systolic volume.
Great. This one.
Hair rate.
Okay, it is heart. Okay, not heart. Heart rate. Heart rate. In Spanish, frecuencia cardíaca, right? What about the last one here?
Cardiac output.
Output. Okay. What about this word?
Ejection.
It would be ejection. Ejection.
Ejection.
Great. Ejection fraction, right? This is a word a lot of people have problems with. Would you read it, please?
Determines.
Okay, it's determines.
Determines.
Okay, the base form of the verb, this is a verb, right? As I was saying, I was telling you right before, the base form of the verb is determine, okay? And when we have, when we're speaking in third person, right? Like when we're talking about he, she, it, the verb, we have to add an S at the end of the verb, right? In this case, we are talking about heart failure. It would be our it, because it's not a he or she. So in heart failure, it's like an it, right? And since it's a third person, we would have to add an S. So the base form is determine, and when we are speaking, well, we have a sentence, we would have determines. Okay, it is the base form is determine, and when we combine this in a sentence, it would be determines. Okay. Okay, let's go on. What about here? You have any doubt?
Um, I think I don't. Sorry. What is the pronunciation about miligramos de mercurio? I didn't hear it when you say it, the class.
Okay, it is mercury millimeters.
Mercury millimeters.
Yes, as in centimeters, it would be millimeters. Okay.
Okay.
And what about these structures here?
Um, could you help me with the pronunciation of ligamento?
It's just like it's written. It's ligament.
Ligament,
Yes.
as it is.
Okay. Yes, as it is. What about this word?
Uterus.
Okay. We have two. Well, there are different there are different pronunciations as when it comes to the origin of the person who we are talking to. When we have a U.S. In U.S. English, right? This T sounds like a D, almost like a D. So it would be uterus, uterus. Okay. As you, the way you said it sounds more like a British English. There's difference in pronunciation between countries, right? So in British English would be uterus.
Uterus.
Yes, but in US English, which is the most commercial one, it would be uterus. As if the T would turn into a D, uterus. Okay.
Yeah, and the other one, like it will be uterine fundus.
Okay. Yeah, fundus. Yes. Any other question? Any other doubt? Cervical canal, ovary, cervix.
And sorry, this one, I don't know how it would be a pronunciation.
Okay, fimbria. It would be fimbria. Fimbria.
Fimbria. So the E will be like silent.
Yes, great. That is correct. Fimbria. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, let's go on. Any other? Well, here I think you might have a few. Could you read this?
Hypothalamus.
Okay, the pronunciation when we have a T and an H, it's as if you put your tongue between your teeth. Okay, and it's like as if you were blowing. So it would be hypothalamus, hypothalamus. Okay.
Hypothalamus.
Hypothalamus. Okay, put your tongue between your teeth. It will be hypothalamus.
Hypothalamus.
Yes, hypothalamus. Okay. Any other questions? Any other doubts?
The pronunciation. It will be pituitary. No, pituitary.
Pituitary.
Okay.
Pituitary. Yes, pituitary gland, right? Pituitary. What about this word?
Luteinizing.
Luteinizing. Luteinizing. Okay.
Could you repeat, please?
Okay. Yes, sure. Luteinizing.
Luteinizing.
Yes, luteinizing hormone, right? Here, the H sounds like a J in Spanish, right? It would be hormone, right?
Hormone. Okay.
And this O sounds like as if you had an O followed by a U. It's like hormone, hormone.
Hormone.
Okay, no, it's not
Hormone.
hormone, it's hormone.
Hormone.
Yes, great. Any other question here?
The pronunciation of gonads.
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 Yes.
I think in that one, all
Okay,
it's
clear. Okay, this one.
the faces, the pronunciation of the faces, follicular and
Okay,
luteal.
it would be follicular. Okay, notice in Spanish it would be sílaba tónica, right? So it would be follicular.
Follicular.
In Spanish, it's different, right? It's folicular. This one is the that has a higher pronunciation, follicular. In English, it would be follicular. Okay,
Follicular.
and this one would be luteal.
Luteal.
Okay, it would be basal, right? Basal body temperature, hormone level, FSH, LH, estrogen, progesterone. Uh, any other questions here?
I think all is clear in that one.
Okay, let's go on then. Here we have a lot of structures.
Yes.
Okay, do you have any doubts about any of them?
Maybe it's a part of the small intestine.
Okay, okay. Here we have it. Here. Okay. Here we have the duodenum. Okay, right here, duodenum. Right, just as it's written. Jejunum and ileum. 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 Okay.
Sorry,
Yes.
the word that is down ilium, what is the pronunciation?
Second, ciego.
Second.
In Spanish, right? Second.
Okay.
Okay. This would be the appendix, sigmoid flexure. Okay, flexure.
Flexure.
Yes, sigmoid flexure. Anus, rectum, sigmoid colon, descending colon. Notice pronunciation here, descending.
Descending. Descending.
Yes. Transverse, splenic flexure, transverse column. Do you have any other doubts? And this CH sounds like a Q in most words, right? So it would be stomach, right?
Stomach.
Yes. The A here does not sound like an A in Spanish. It's between an A and an E. Stomach. It's not stomach.
Stomach.
Stomach. Okay.
Stomach.
Great. Yes. In here we have a difference between English and Spanish as well. In Spanish would be parótida, right? Parótida. However, in English we call it parotid. Parrot.
Parotid.
Yes. Okay. Sublingual, submandibular, and it's here we were talking about this A, right? It's the same concept here. So it's not gland, it's gland.
Gland.
Gland between an A and an E. Gland, not gland, gland. Okay.
Gland. Okay.
Yes, great. Here we have a lot of structures too. So do you have any doubts about them?
Maybe could you say me the pronunciation of the parts like oropharynge, nasopharynge?
Okay, yes. This is also the same concept here in this one, okay? It's nasopharynx.
Nasal.
Pharynx. As we were saying in stomach, here we have this A that sounds, if you see any dictionary, you're going to find in parentheses next to the word that you are looking for, the correct, well, some words, some letters that are supposed to help you with pronunciation. Okay, so in a dictionary you are going to find something like this. I tried to to write it, but it's kind of ugly. It's here we have an A, and next to it it's an E. Okay, so this is the A we're talking about. Okay, so this is nasopharynx between an A and an E.
Pharynx.
Nasopharynx.
Pharynx.
Pharynx between an A and an E. Okay,
Pharynx.
here we have, yes, I'm listening.
It will be like nasopharynx.
Nasopharynx.
Nasal.
Yes, because here, when we're talking about the nose, we call it the nasal cavity, right? Nasal. So here is the same concept: nasopharynx, nasal cavity, nasopharynx. Okay,
Mhm.
you got it right.
Nasopharynx.
Yes, great. Here it would be oropharynx. Oropharynx. It is different
Oropharynx.
also in Spanish and in English, right? In Spanish it would be oropharynge, right? In English is
Mhm.
oropharynx.
Oropharynx.
Okay, this one would be hypopharynx. Hypopharynx.
Hypopharynx.
Yes, great. Any other structures you might want to talk about?
Mm,
Pronunciation, epiglottis is just almost the same as in Spanish, right? Uh,
could you say me the pronunciation of the it would be like cricoid or
yes,
how
cricoid and
cartilage
cartilage, cartilage.
cartilage cartilage
Okay, and this will be trachea. Okay, trachea.
trachea trachea.
Right. Okay, so we'll go on to the next slide, right? This is easy. What about this one? Or pharyngeal, esophageal.
Oropharyngeal esophageal.
Yes, great. The rest is, I think it would be clear, right? There's an, well, this one, what about this one? How would you spell this word? How would you say it?
So it would be like dysphagia
Dysphagia.
dysphagia.
Yes, dysphagia. Okay. Any other question, doubt here?
Yeah, so could you say me there is like here in says like primary esophageal motor disease. What is the example? How is the pronunciation?
This one, right? It's primary esophageal motor disease. As if the
Uh,
T here turned into a D, motor. Okay, not
motor
motor. No, it's not motor, it's motor.
motor
Motor disease, okay? And this one, the disease itself, it will be achalasia.
Malaysia.
Yes. Okay. Any other questions?
No, I think I got it.
Okay. What about this one? A lot of people have problems with this one, this word, right? Because we already checked it when we're talking about skull. There's a bone that is called this way also. Could you read it for me? This word?
Arterial,
Okay, it's parietal.
parietal,
Okay, parietal cells. Uh, could you read this word, please?
mucus,
Yes, mucus. Uh, this word is kind of tricky also.
invite.
In Spanish would be inhibir, right? So how
Mhm.
would you say this?
Invites or invites. I
It's
don't know.
actually it's inhibits.
Hits.
Inhibits. Okay.
Okay.
Uh, I think. Well, here in Spanish we have enzymes, right? And we usually have the suffix asa, right? Like proteasa in this case. Any kind of enzyme that you might have to read in English, this suffix is read ase. Okay, so it would
Ace.
be protease.
Protease.
Okay, this is used in any kind of enzymes that you might have to read ase. Okay, um, any other words you might have problems with?
Could you tell me the pronunciation of the pepsinogen or
Yes,
how you
that is great. Yes, just like
okay
in Spanish. Okay, how would you say this word?
chief
Yes, chief. Great. I think
um
that's yes.
sorry the first one the first cells you how would be the pronunciation.
This one,
Mhm.
goblet, just like in
Go.
Spanish, goblet. This is like as we call it, as we know in Spanish, epónimo, right? This is like someone just discovered something and writes his name or names and structure after his name, right? Like triángulo de escarpa, no sé, that kind of structures. This is just a name, okay? It's goblet cells because someone
Okay.
named goblet described it, okay? So this is just a name. It doesn't have a meaning, so it's goblet, okay?
Okay.
Okay, any other question?
In this part, I think we're done.
Okay, what about this one? I have a question for you. What does this mean?
I don't know. It would be like uh, I really don't have any idea.
Okay, you must have read, or yes, you must have read about omeprazole, right? This drug, omeprazole in Spanish, right? What kind of drug is it? It's in Spanish, it's inhibidor de bomba de protones, right?
Mhm.
You read about it, right?
Yeah,
Sorry?
kind of, not like a lot of, but a little. I have
Okay,
heard about that.
okay. Omeprazole is quite famous, right? It's well,
Mhm.
it's used in many diseases, especially in gastritis and reflux. Okay, so that drug belongs to a family of drugs which are inhibidor de bomba de protones. Here we have the proton pump. Okay, this cell, the parietal cell, has the proton pump which produces hydrogen to alter the pH of the gastric environment. Okay, so an inhibitor of the proton pump, that is what is this stands for, proton pump inhibitor, inhibidor de bomba de protones, inhibits this pump that is right here, and it decreases the amount of hydrogen molecules that this cell produces. Okay, so this means proton pump inhibitor. Okay,
Okay. It will
okay,
be a proton pump inhibitor.
yes, proton pump inhibitor. Yes. Well, any other question here?
Um, I think I got it.
Okay. This was what we were talking about, right? Duodenum, jejunum, and
Yeah.
okay, ileum, right? Here's a mistake. I'm sorry. It should be large intestine, right? This is small
Yes.
intestine, large intestine. Yeah, I'm sorry for the mistake. Any other question here?
No.
Okay. What about this one?
The, the pronunciation it's liver, right?
Yes, liver.
To be sure. Okay. Okay. And then What is the pronunciation of um, I forgot it even in Spanish. Sorry, this part, the green part.
Sorry.
El productor de bilis. What is the pronunciation?
This one?
Bladder? Uh-huh.
This is gallbladder.
Gallbladder.
Gallbladder. Gallbladder. Okay.
Gallbladder.
This is the gallbladder. Okay. Okay. Actually, bile is produced in the liver, and it only is stored in the gallbladder. Okay. So, any other doubt here?
No.
Okay, let's go on. We already checked this, right? In pharynx, we were saying hypopharynx, oropharynx, nasopharynx, right? Epiglottis, larynx, trachea. Okay, trachea. Repeat after me.
Trachea.
Yes, great. Bronchus, bronchioli. This one is kind of tricky.
Bronchioli.
Yes, bronchioli. Okay. Alveolus, and when we're speaking in plural, it would be alveoli. Just it's like an I replaces the US. Okay, it would be alveoli. And here we're talking in singular, so it would be alveolus. Okay. The same reasoning here. We'll have bronchi. Okay, in plural. It is also used here to refer primary bronchi. Okay. Any other question here?
Could we recheck bronchiolo in the singular bronch? Okay,
This one?
bronchioles,
Bronchioli. Bronchiolize.
bronchiolize, and
Yes.
bronch. It will be the plural.
Yes. It will. Oh, okay. These are smaller, right? These are much smaller. Bronchioli. Bronchi are the big ones here. Bronchi, right?
Bronchi.
In Spanish, it's the same. Bronquios y bronquiolos, right?
Yes.
Okay. This, I don't think we have any doubts, right? It's all clear, easy. How would you call this cell? Could you please read this?
Pneumocyte.
Pneumocyte. Any kind of
Pneumocyte.
any kind of cell. You know that. Oh yes. Every cell when we have it written in a book ends in site. In Spanish, it's the same, right? Like adiposito, cualquier célula, ¿cierto? In English, is the same. So this cito in Spanish would be site in English. And here it's like the P is silent and you just say pneumocyte.
Pneumocyte.
Okay, so this site, this suffix, applies to every cell that you read. Okay, myocardiocite, adipocyte, pneumocyte. Okay. So any other doubts here?
I was wondering about here the layers too, about this one.
The layers. Okay. Here we have an alveolus, right? It's like a sac of air right here, like this. And we have different layers here. The one that is here is the epithelial layer, right? Underneath the epithelial layer, we have the basal membrane, okay, which is not shown here. And then we have the endothelium, okay, which corresponds to the vessels, right? Okay, so do you have any other doubts or want me to be more specific or anything?
No, I think I got it. It's epithelium.
Epithelium.
Um,
Notice pronunciation. When you have a T and an H together, it's like you put your tongue between your teeth. So it's
epithelium.
epithelium. Epithelium. Okay.
Okay.
It's not epithelium. It's epithelium. Okay.
Epithelium.
Let's go on. Here we do not have anything to talk about. Here, the topic that we discussed today. Um, any question here?
Mm, yeah, you see, there is carbohydrates. How
Okay, it's carbohydrates. Carbohydrates.
carbohydrates. And you
Yes,
say there is another way, and it's just carbs or something like
yes,
that.
yes, great. Well, this is a more formal and correct way of calling this kind of molecules, right? It is actually the correct way of calling these molecules. However, well, you and I are doctors, right? And we're speaking casually and like we're friends and we just say it's carbs, okay? It is less formal than saying carbohydrates, which is actually the correct form of calling it. However, to make things easier and when you're talking to a friend, you can say carbs.
It's like the hello and hi.
Yes, that is a great example. Yes, hello and hi, right? Hello is much more formal, right? And carbohydrates is like when you are talking and to your professor or something, you can say carbs, right? Like it's doesn't suit for medical stuff, right? So when you're talking to your friend, it's carbs. When you're talking to someone who you uh, have some more respect to, you just say carbohydrates. Okay. Any other here?
I think I don't have any other
Okay.
question.
I want you to give me an example, any kind of sentence with this phrasal verb, which is get rid of. Do you know what get rid of is?
We say it was like when we want to, well, like make disappear something.
Sorry, I didn't catch it.
Like, was it like we want to get rid of carbohydrates, lipids, and protein of our body by the urine, maybe.
Okay, actually get rid of something is to, in Spanish, deshacerse de algo, right? It's like I drank this soda can. I drank soda from this can. Now this can is empty, and I'm now throwing it away. I'm getting rid of this can, empty can. Okay, deshacerse de algo. Okay. Okay, so here, any kind of structures you might have problems with, pronunciation especially?
Um, well, I think ureta. What would be the pronunciation about that one?
Okay, urethra.
Ure- Urethra.
Yes,
Urethra.
yes. And this one, could you
Um,
read this?
it would be like renal hilum.
Yes, Highland, yes. Um, okay, any other one?
Uh, and that one, birthing, or how it would be the
Uh,
pronunciation?
this actually in Spanish would be read Bertan, right? Las columnas de Bertan. In English would be the same because it's a name, right? You cannot change the pronunciation in according to the language you are surrounded by. So you have to respect how this name is pronounced and it is Bertan. Okay, Bertan
Birthing.
column. Yes, it's not Bertin as some people might have read. It's Bertan column, but it's in English, in Spanish, in Portuguese, in any other language. Okay, it's Bertan column.
And this part of the medulla, it's the pronunciation.
Okay, it's medulla.
Medulla.
Yes, and this is like an U sounded in Spanish. U, just as simple as that, medulla. Okay.
This is okay. The pronunciation will be just like in Spanish.
Yes, as if you were reading this in Spanish, medulla.
Okay.
Okay. Any other one here?
Um, the pronunciation of it will be like Malpighi pyramids.
Pyramids. Notice in
Pyramids.
Spanish would be the sílaba tónica, right? So it in Spanish would be pirámides, right? In English would be pyramids. The first, yes, the first two letters here are pronounced louder, right? So it would be pyramids. In Spanish, you would say pirámides, right? In English, pyramids.
Pyramids.
Yes. Okay, any other?
I think I'm done with this one.
Okay, here we do not have anything. The structures here, we're going to see it later, okay? So, what about this word?
Wait, hydrostatic.
Yes, hydrostatic, okay. This is the same we were talking also. Capillaries, venules, right? Arterials, right? Yes, that's it.
And the pronunciation of lymphatic,
Just lymphatic.
just like that, lymphatic.
Yes. Notice the pronunciation of the T. It's not lymphatic. It's lymphatic.
Lymphatic.
Yes. In British English, it would be correct to say lymphatic because they have different pronunciations, right? In US English, it would be lymphatic.
Lymphatic.
Yes. Okay. Here we don't have any words. Here we do not have either. Here the same.
I in the last
This one.
in this one, I got a question. What is the other one? But you say bacteria, but I don't remember that. What is that?
Which okay, the whole slide.
No, I mean there the part that is like in well it's bacteria or something like that. You say when you were explaining that. Could you say what is that? Could you tell me what is that?
Which one? I didn't get it.
Yeah. Okay. The one that you are like I don't know how to explain it, but the one that you're like touching with your wait, the one it's like in up of the layer. I don't know how to.
This one.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to say it in Spanish. This is okay. This is the barrera de filtración glomerular, right? You read that in physiology class, I think, right? Right. Okay. This is a filtration barrier. Is the same. It's translation to English. Okay. Filtration barrier is the same as barrera de filtración glomerular. So. This filtration barrier has 3 layers, okay? Here we see the capillary, right? Inside the Bowman's capsule. And these cells, which are the podocytes, podocitos, right? Have this like feet. That is why they are called podocytes, right? So its feet are surrounding the capillaries, like they are embracing, they're wrapping the capillaries. Okay, so when we have a cut here, if we could cut this structure, we would see this. These are the podocytes. Okay, podocytes. Then we have its basal membrane, and then we have the endothelium. So the podocytes, the basal membrane, and the endothelium form the filtration barrier.
I was a little confused when I saw that picture, and I was like, "What is that?"
Okay, okay, yeah, it's kind of, it doesn't really show, right, what it has to, but it's a photography, so that is why it's not that clear. It's the same as on your right. It's the same. Here we have the endothelium, and it's in pink, right? Then we have the basal membrane, which is in white, and uh, actually this arrow, this yellow arrow, is pointing at the basal membrane, okay? And then we have the podocytes.
It's both sides.
Yes. Okay, so this is the filtration barrier. It has three main layers, right? Podocytes, basal membrane, and endothelium. That is, I'm going to say it in Spanish because it's important. Es una pregunta de examen, right? Because, I mean, there's a lot of tests in which they're going to ask you what structures are involved in filtration barrier, okay? You know what filtration, glomerular filtration is, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that happens through these three structures. Okay, so let's go on. Here, this this word is kind of tricky. Could you read it?
Convolute. Convolute.
Convoluted.
Convoluted.
Yes, convoluted.
It's a difficult one.
Yes, it's kind of hard, right? In Spanish, we say it like it's nothing. It's a túbulo contorneado proximal, right? In English, would be proximal convoluted tubule.
Proximal convoluted tubule.
Yes. Okay. Loop of Henle, the same. Distal, say it, please.
Distal convoluted tubule.
Yes. And this one is easy, collecting duct, right? This is the same as in Spanish, right? Aparato juxtaglomerular is juxtaglomerular apparatus.
Juxtaglomerular apparatus.
Yes. This is what we already saw. This is the same. Do you have any doubts here?
Arteriola. You say it's the pronunciation, right? Or arteriola.
Arterioli. Okay.
Arteriola. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. This is easier, right? Secretion, absorption, filtration, urine. This word is urine. Okay. Well, here's something that it's related to units, right? 140 liters per day, right? Liters per day. And here we have 80 to 120 milliliters per minute. Okay.
Milliliters per minute.
Yes. Okay. That, I think that's the only thing that is kind of tricky here. Here, loop of Henle. Do you have any other doubts? Because we're almost done.
I think all it's okay. This one luminal, or how is the pronunciation?
Luminal.
Luminal. As it's written.
Yes, in Spanish would be luminal, right? Luminal. And in English, it's luminal.
Luminal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other question?
I think all it's clear.
Okay. So, okay. I think that would be it. I'll see you on Monday, right? Tomorrow we do not
Yes.
have classes. Okay. Have a good weekend, and I will see you. I'll see you on Monday.
See you Monday.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. See you. Bye.
Hello, Paola. Are you there?
Oh no, I'm Brisa.
Okay, Brisa. I thought you weren't able to speak. Okay, so Brisa, do you have any doubts about pronunciation mainly? Your partners had a lot of questions for me, so we're going to start with you. Okay, we're going to start with the first topic that we were talking about, which is cardiovascular system. Here you have you can see my screen, right? Do you have any pronunciation problems or any doubts?
Yeah, with the is tricuspid?
Okay, it's tricuspid.
Ah, tricuspid.
Yes.
Okay.
What about this one?
Superior vena cava.
Cava. Okay.
Cava.
Yes, cava. Okay, I think we have someone else. It's Paula also here, right?
Yes.
Okay, Paula, would you mind, guys, if we do it together? I mean, the three of us, to
Okay.
make it faster.
Yes.
Okay, so Paola, we were talking about pronunciation here. Uh, Brisa, with Brisa, we were talking about the pronunciation of this structure. Could you please tell us?
Yes. Superior vena cava.
Great. Okay. What about this one? We were also talking about this structure.
Tricuspid valve.
Okay, great. Try. So, guys, any other question you might be having problems with?
Yes, and ventricle, ventricle,
Ventricle.
or
It's
okay,
ventricle, right?
ventricle.
Yes. I'm going to say it in Spanish because en español sería ventrículo, right? La sílaba tónica sería tri. In this case, in English, it's ventricle, right? Ventricle.
Mhm.
Okay, so guys, any other question here?
No, for me.
Is
Okay.
aortic, right?
It's like the T is kind of silent. It would be aortic.
Okay, aortic.
Yes. Any other question, guys? Some of your classmates were having problems with this word here.
Right atrium.
Yes, atrium. Yes. Okay. So I think you don't have any other doubts here, right? So let's go on to the next one. Okay. What about here? Here, I noticed that we had a mistake, right? Because we here we have blood vessels, which is in plural, right? So it doesn't make sense with the IES form of the verb because it's in plural. So it would be carry, the base form of the verb, because it's in plural, right? Do you have any doubts about it?
No.
Okay, what about you, Brisa?
No, me neither.
Okay, thank you. There was a lot of there were a lot of doubts here well, when it comes to pronunciation. So do you have any?
Is serous?
Okay, and when you well, the base form of this word would be serum, right? So it's serous pericardium.
It is a parietal lake.
Uh, okay, this some of your classmates also had this kind of problem. We also checked this word when we're talking about a skull, right? It's parietal.
Okay.
Parietal. Okay, Risa, are you okay with this word? Parietal?
Yes, yes, I am.
Okay. This one also, someone had some problems with this. I mean, the base form of this word would be fiber, right? So it's fibrous pericardium. Any other question here? When it comes to English and medicine. Okay, so let's go on. Any pronunciation problem here?
No.
Okay, what about you, Paula?
No, too.
Okay, you know the pronunciation between a T and an H, right? It's thelium, endothelium. And some of your classmates also had problem with this word. It's myocardium, right? So I think that's those are the tricky ones here. So here, some people also had some kind of problems. So do you have a problem with this structures that we were looking at?
It's dioxinated or
Okay, it's actually deoxygenated. Deoxygenated. Okay, repeat after me, please.
deoxygenated.
Deoxygenated. Okay. What about you, Brisa? Do you have any problems with these words?
Not now.
Okay, let's go on. This is tried, right? This one, this structure, I think all of them had a problem with these words. So it's cordia tendinia, okay? Cordia tendinia. Could you both say it for me?
Cordia
Cordia tendia.
Tendinia. Okay, now you, Risa.
Cordia tendinia.
Great. This one's easy, right? Papillary muscles. Here, I think we have the same words that we had in the other slides, so I'm going on. Uh, any questions here?
oh,
Okay, what about you, Brisa?
It is alveolus.
Alveolus.
Alveolus. Okay.
Yes, and this one's kind of tricky also. It's hematosis, okay? Hematosis. The same logic is used here, right? Could you please read this word for me?
Hemoglobin.
Yes, okay. That is the same, I mean, it's the same logic, right? So this word would be venule, right? And the other words, I don't think we might have problems with the other structures. Do you have any?
No, I don't.
no.
Okay, great. This one's the easiest of all slides. I mean, I don't think there's doubts about this. So I'm going out, okay? What about this one?
Um, can you explain the two cups?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch it. The two what?
Uh, can you explain that the information about the two cups? I don't remember.
This one?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
The two cups.
You know this is called mitral, right? Mitral valve. Do you know why this valve has this name?
Suppose I contain two other bulbs. It's composed to other bulbs.
Okay, but why this word mitral? Does anybody of you guys know? Okay, a mitra without the L is like, you must have seen the Pope, right? The Pope, like the Catholic religion, the Pope who is in Rome, right? So he wears always wears a hat, right? And it has two sides. It's like a triangle, right? You saw that, right? The Pope wearing this kind of hat, pointy hat. So it's like we're taking this. This hat is like is called mitra, okay, in Spanish. So a mitra, we take it upside down and we have this, right? So here the mitral valve has two cusps. This is one cusp, una cúspide en español, and this is the other one, right? So this valve takes its name due to the hat of the Pope because it has two sides, and this valve has two cusps, those cúspides or those valvas. Okay, so it has an anterior cusp and a posterior cusp. Okay, did you know that?
Yes.
Okay, so any other doubt?
No.
Okay, let's go. Here, any problem with pronunciation or anything?
It is pronounced capillaries, right?
Capillaries. Notice in Spanish will be capilares. In English, it's capillaries. Okay, capillaries. You pronounce these two letters louder than the rest of the word. So it's capillaries.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Any other doubt? Okay, so can go on, right? This is easy. It's systolic and diastolic. I don't think there's problems here. Do we have any doubts?
No.
Okay, what about you, Brisa?
No.
Okay. Okay. What about this slide? Does anybody have a doubt? Some people had problems with this word. Could you please read it, Brisa?
Ejection fraction.
Ejection, right? It's ejection. Okay, ejection fraction. Paola, how would you read this word down here?
Determines.
Okay, the verb here, the base form of the verb is to determine. Okay, so here we would read determines. Okay, it's not determines, it's determines. Okay, that's a word. A lot of people has well, they have problems with this word. A lot of people has this problem. So it determines. Any other word you might be having problems with?
Yes, I have problem with heart failure. Failure?
It's failure. Failure. As if you had an I between the L and the U. Okay, it's heart failure.
Okay, I get it.
Okay, in Spanish would be insuficiencia cardíaca, right? So let's go on. What about this one? It's kind of easy, right? I don't think there's problems here, or do we have any?
No.
No.
Okay, great. Here, does anybody have any problems?
With Fimbria, Fambria.
Fimbria, okay, it would be Fimbria, as if the E didn't exist. So in Spanish, we would just say this Fimbria, right? Without the E. So in English, it's Fimbria. Okay. Okay, you were saying, Paula?
Yes.
Okay, do you have any doubts?
No.
Okay, some people were having problem with this word. Okay, in English spoken countries, they have different pronunciations. So in British English, in the UK, right, this word would be read uterus, right? In US English, in the United States, is as the T would be turned into a D, okay? So it's uterus. Some people were having problem with this. That's why I'm telling you, okay? So any other?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay, thank you. Let's go on. What about this one?
It's luteinizing.
Yes, luteinizing, yes.
Yes.
And notice, I know you know this because you both have a good English level. So This H sounds like a J in Spanish, right? So it's hormone. What else? Some people were asking me this about this word, which is gonads, right? Any other questions or doubts here?
No.
Okay, Paola.
No.
Okay, let's go on. And what about this one?
It is said menses.
Yes, that is the pronunciation, just as it's written, right?
Okay.
Uh, any other question? Paola, what about you?
No.
Okay, let's go on then. Here we have a lot of structures, so if you want to ask something, go ahead.
It's gallbladder.
Gallbladder,
Okay. Gallbladder.
bladder, okay. Here, actually, when we didn't get to that part, but we have this is gallbladder, right? But when we're talking about vejiga in English, would be urine bladder. Okay, so gallbladder is vesicula and urine bladder is vejiga. Okay, so gallbladder, vesicula. Uh, any other questions? This is ileum, right?
Texture.
Okay, yes, it's flexure. Yes, yes, flexure. Hepatic flexure. Yes. This would be the splenic flexure, right? Splenic flexure. You're right about the pronunciation, yes. Um, this is the descending, right, colon, ascending colon, right? Some people had some problems with the pronunciation of this word. Although it's easy, this word, this letter is the one that was causing some problems. It's not stomach, right? It's stomach. It's like the pronunciation is between an A and an E. It's stomach, not stomach, stomach. Okay. Uh, the same concept is used in this word, gland, not gland. It's gland, right? Any other problems, questions?
No.
Okay. What about this? Some people were having problems with the words related to the pharynx, right? This is the same concept as we were talking right before. This A right here is pronounced this way, between an A and an E, right? It's nasopharynx. I mean, this naso comes from nasal cavity, right? So it's nasopharynx, nasopharynx. Here we have the oropharynx and hypopharynx. Any other doubts here?
No.
Brisa?
And with arytenoid, arytenoid.
Just like we call it in Spanish, right? It's arytenoid. Cartílago arytenoides, right? Arytenoid.
Okay.
Okay, so the same concept here, cricoid, right? Cartilage, cartilage. Notice the pronunciation here, as I was saying, the difference between the UK or written English, British English, and the US English. So cartilage, like a D, right? In UK or British English would be cartilage, right? It's like the pronunciation is quite different. So what about the other words that we have here? Okay, let's go on. Oh, this yes. This word. How would you read this word? This is a symptom, right? So, could you say it?
Dysphagia.
Yes, great. Dysphagia. Okay. This word. This is a disease, right? It's similar to this one, so it would be
Achalasia.
yes, achalasia. Great. You know the ch pronunciation is like a q, right? So it'd be achalasia. A means without, right? And chalasia. Does anybody know? Do you guys know the meaning of chalasia? I didn't ask you that in class, right? A, as in Spanish, means without, right? Sin. And chalasia actually means relajación, relaxation. Without relaxation of what structure? The lower esophageal sphincter, right? So it would, this disease is related to the lack of relaxation of the lower esophageal sphincter, right? You read about this disease. So any other question?
The achalasia is when you have like trouble with eating and drinking.
Okay, do you want me to explain the disease?
If that is achalasia, I know what that is.
Yes, it's achalasia, right? The lower sphincter does not relax. So when you eat, the food and the water, the liquids you eat and drink, uh, stay in your chest, right? Where your esophagus is. That is why this is called esophageal dysphagia. Okay, when you have this sensation of having something in your chest, yeah, like your food is stuck in your chest. That is esophageal dysphagia. Okay, it is related to achalasia because your lower esophageal sphincter does not relax, so your food is stuck in your esophagus, in your chest, right? So this is one. Um, this is how we classify dysphagia. Okay, the oropharyngeal dysphagia, when we have something that is blocking the upper structures of the deglutition structures. For example, when we have amygdalitis, it is swollen, right? So we swallow, but with some effort, right? This is a symptom called oropharyngeal dysphagia. When we have troubles to swallow at the beginning, and when we have troubles at the end of the deglutition, it is also esophageal dysphagia when your food is stuck in your esophagus. So this is some kind of classification of dysphagia, oropharyngeal and esophageal.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay, what about this slide? Do you have any questions here?
It is globet.
Okay, goblet. In Spanish, we have a lot of structures that are named after someone that described these structures, right? Like Triángulo de Escarpa, right? It is a name. So this is a name. This does not have a meaning, actually. This is someone who was named Goblet. Okay, so it's goblet cells.
Okay.
Okay, now this is parietal, right? As in the bone, parietal cells, sheath cells. And what about this word? Some people had problems with this word. Could you Read it, please.
Mucus.
It would be mucus.
Mucus.
Yes, mucus. What about you, Paula? Do you have any questions here?
No.
Okay, great. So, what about this one? I was asking you this, what does PPI stand for? Okay, you heard of this drug called omeprazole, right? In Spanish, omeprazole, right? It belongs to a certain kind of family of drugs to inhibit the proton pump, which is in the parietal cell. This pump produces hydrogen. So this family of drugs inhibits this pump. So it is proton pump inhibitor. Okay, proton pump inhibitor. I think that's the uh, trickiest one in this slide. Does anybody have a question? Paola, do you have any?
No.
Okay. This is, we already saw this in another slide. What about this one? Paola, do you have any questions or doubts about pronunciation?
No.
Okay. What about you, Brisa?
No, me neither.
Okay, thank you. We already checked this, right? Bronchioli, bronchus, alveolus, trachea, larynx, pharynx. This is almost the same. Do you have any questions?
It is cardiac notch.
Yes, notch, notch. It's like you were reading it in Spanish, notch. Okay.
Okay.
It means impression, right? It's like the heart is right here, so it makes an impression on the surface of the lung. So that is a notch. Okay. Here, any kind of doubts? This is more theoretical, right? So what about pronunciation here? How would you read this, Paola? This cell?
Pneumorocyte.
It's like as if P was silent. It would be pneumocyte. Pneumocyte, okay? Okay, the whole term would be type 2 pneumocyte, right? So any other question here?
No.
No.
Okay, thank you. This is the last part, right? So any questions here? You know, the word like less formal than carbohydrates would be
Carbo.
carbs, just carbs. Okay, in plural would be carbs, in singular would be carb. Okay, when you're talking to like your colleague, there's to your friend. Okay, you would call this a carb, or you would be talking about carbs. Okay, for example, if you're talking to your professor or a superior doctor, you might use the word the actual correct way of reading this would be carbohydrate, right? So, any other questions here? Okay.
No.
You know the meaning of get rid of, right? This is a phrasal verb. Brisa, do you know the meaning of this phrasal verb?
Yes, it's deshacerse.
Yes, great. So yes, so let's go on. Any problems with pronunciation here?
It is pyramids.
Pyramids.
Oh, pyramids. Okay.
Yeah, pyramids. Um, how would you read this?
Renal hilum.
Yes, Highland. Great. Oh, I think. Oh well. Paola, how would you read this?
Which?
This one down below.
I don't see the mouse.
Uh,
Ah,
this one. Yeah.
um, I, I my my screen is in it's a medulla.
It's actually medulla.
Okay,
Okay, medulla. Some people were having problems with this one also. Medulla, okay? Here we do not have anything to talk about. The structures, we're going to see it in some other slide. What about this word, Brisa?
Hydrostatic.
Yes, hydrostatic. Okay, some people were also having problems with this one. It would be, how would you read this, Paola?
lymphatic.
Okay, lymphatic. Okay, I think that would be it, right? Capillaries, metarterialized, venules, arterialized, right? Here we do not have any. Do you have any doubts about medical content here? Because some people asked me what this was here. Do you guys know what this is? I mean, some medical knowledge, right? Do you know what this is? This image on your left? Some,
No.
okay, so do you want me to explain it? Okay, here we have a capillary, right? The red one. This is a vessel, a capillary. So here we have the podocytes, right? It has like feet, right? And with its feet, podocyte embraces. It's like it's hugging. It's like wrapping this capillary. Okay, so if we cut this at this plane, if we cut this, we can see this. Okay, so these are the podocytes right here, the basal membrane, and the endothelium of the capillary. Okay, so these three structures form the filtration barrier. In Spanish would be barrera de filtración glomerular, right? So here is an schematic image in which we have the same information. Here we have the fenestrated endothelium, right, in pink. In white, we would have the basal membrane, and these arrows, these red arrows, are pointing to podocytes. So these images are trying to show us the filtration barrier, or in Spanish, la barrera de filtración glomerular. Okay. This is actually important because there are some antibodies that tend to reach these structures. I mean, there are antibodies that tend to reach the basal membrane or the podocytes. So when we have sometimes some kinds of studies, when we are seeing a patient, this is quite important, okay? Also, in an academical way, this is, I'm going to say in Spanish, es una pregunta de examen, okay? ¿Cuáles son las estructuras que forman la barrera de filtración glomerular? Well, podocytes, basal membrane, and endothelium, okay? So let's go on. Any questions about this one? This word is tricky, really tricky. So could you please read it, Paula?
No. Convoluted.
Convoluted, convoluted. Okay, could you repeat it?
Convoluted.
Convoluted, convoluted. Okay. In Spanish, we say it. We call this structure túbulo contorneado proximal, right? In English, would be proximal convoluted tubule. Okay. Brisa, any kind of doubt here?
No.
Okay. This is the same as in Spanish, right? Juxtaglomerular apparatus. Notice pronunciation here, the T almost turning into a D, apparatus. So let's go on. Any kind of question here? Okay, what
No.
about this one? This is easy, right? Some people were having problems with this word. It's urine, right? That would be it. Units. Some people were having problems with this one also. So could you read this, Brisa?
140. I don't know.
Okay, it would be liters. Okay, okay. I'm going to spell it. Okay, it would be L I T E R and S, right? Would be liters. Notice also pronunciation, the T turning into a D. So it would be liters. This is a unit, right? So it would be liters per, which is written this way. Per, okay? Liters per day. Okay? Liters per day. Okay, so Paola, could you read this, please?
Middle, I don't know, milliliters
Milliliters, okay.
per minute.
Come again?
Milliliters per minute.
Okay, milliliters per minute, okay. Any pronunciation here? I don't think so, right? I think that would be it, right? So, okay, guys, so tomorrow we don't have classes. So if there's not any other question, is there?
No.
No,
Okay, guys, so I'll see you on Monday, okay? Because tomorrow we do not have
thank you
classes.
very much.
No, thank you for staying up late. I mean, it's kind of late, right? So get a good night's sleep and I'll see you on Monday.
Okay, see you. Good night.
Okay, bye. Hello, Mariana. How are you?
Hello.
Hey, how are you doing?
Thank
Okay, so do you have, we were talking about some problems of pronunciation with your classmates. I'm showing you my screen. Do you have any doubts about pronunciation in this slide?
Um, well, about left atrium, right atrium,
Yes, that is
right
correct. Atrium, correct.
atrium. Oh, okay.
Okay, what about this structure here?
Superior vena cava.
Okay, great. This one,
Tricuspid valve.
great. Uh, same concept, same concept here, right? How would you call this?
Mitral valve.
Mitral valve.
Mitral.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. What about this big artery? Could you read it?
Aorta.
It's like
Oh,
the T. It's kind of silent. It would be aorta. Okay.
will you repeat it, please?
Aorta.
Aorta.
Okay. This would be the same aortic.
Aortic valve.
Yes. So what about this one? Do you have any doubts here?
I don't think so.
Okay, here we found a mistake. Okay, this we were talking about blood vessels, right? It's in plural.
Mhm.
So the form of the verb would have to be the base form, right? And not carries, because we're speaking in plural. It would be carry, right?
Okay.
Okay, so what about here? Any pronunciation problems or anything?
Mm,
Could you-
parietal. That
o-
one.
okay, we were also speaking about the bone when we're talking about the skull, right? It is actually parietal.
Parietal. Okay.
Okay, parietal layer. Here, the base form of this word would be fiber, right? So could you read this?
A fiber of fibrous.
Yes, fibers. Okay. Anything else you might be having problems with?
Not really.
Okay. What about this one?
Endocardium, endothelium, coronary vessels,
It's actually vessels.
vessels,
Yes, just as if you were reading in Spanish. Okay, vessels.
vessels. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Thank
Anything else? Some people were having problems with this word. Could you read it, please?
Myocardium.
Great. Okay. Let's go on then. Yes, this word is also kind of tricky for some. So could you please read it?
Oh, okay. Dioxine, deoxygenated blood.
It will be deoxygenated.
Deoxygenated. Okay.
Okay. What about this word? Some people were having problems with this one too.
Mm, sinus.
Yes, great. I think the others are understood, right?
Yes.
Well, this is tri, right? You also told me. This one, some people were having problems with this structure.
I really don't know that one.
Okay, it's actually cordia tendinea.
Cordia tendinia.
Yes, right? This is easy, right? Popularity. So let's go on. What about this one?
Yeah, I don't know where are you. Okay, pulmonary artery, pulmonary valve, tricuspid, and no cordia tendina.
Yes.
How is-
What about here? This one. Do you have any doubts or problems with pronunciation?
How do you say that? The one that it's down pulmonary artery,
Okay,
arterial,
this one, right? Arterial
yeah.
eye.
Arterial eye.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. This one. What about this one?
Hematosis,
Yes, great. Same concept here. So how would you read this?
hemoglobin,
Great. What about this word?
I really don't know that one.
Okay, it would be as if you had an I between the N and the U. So it would be venial.
Venue.
Okay. Okay.
Mm,
Let's go on. This one's easy, right? So do you have any kind of question?
no.
Okay, let's go on then. What about this one?
No.
Here.
Not anymore.
Okay. How would you read this?
Diastolic.
Right. Some people were having problems with these terms, right? On your left, do you have any doubts here?
Not really.
Okay, great. Some people were also having problems with this word. Could you read it for me, please?
Ejection fraction.
Okay, and this is the one that I think all of them were having problems with. So could you read this word?
Okay. Determines a reduced fraction.
Okay, it's actually determines. Okay, yes, the base form of the verb is to determine. Okay, so since we are talking about third person, which in this case is heart failure, right? It would be it, right? So when we're talking in third person, this verb, well, we have to write an S at the end of the word, right? So it would be to determine. It is determines a reduced fraction, heart failure, right? Okay, do you have any other doubts here?
No.
Okay. Here.
No.
Okay, what about this one?
Ovarian ligament.
Yes, ovarian ligament. How would you read this word?
Uterus.
Great. And this one?
Cervical canal.
Okay, it would be canal.
Canal. Okay.
Yeah, as if you were reading in Spanish, right?
Mm.
What about this one?
No, it's everything okay. Let you the
Oh,
hormone.
okay, DLH, right? It would be luteinizing hormone.
Lute. Could you repeat it, please?
Okay, luteinizing hormone.
Luteinizing.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so and this H is pronounced as J in Spanish, right? It's hormone.
Hormone.
Yes. And what about this word?
Gonads.
It's gonads. Gonads. Okay. Uh, I think someone just joined us. So, hello, who's there? Who just joined?
Hi, it's Camila.
Okay, Camila. So, would you mind, Mariana, if the three of us continue from this on?
No, I don't mind. It's okay. I
Okay.
know it's late, so.
Okay. So, Camila, do you have any doubts here?
No, everything's fine.
Okay. What about this slide? Oh, sorry, this one.
Um, do you want me to explain it or what?
No, do you have any doubts you would like to clear up?
No.
So can we go on to the next one?
Yeah.
If there's any kind of doubt, just let me know, okay? Here we have
Okay.
a lot of structures. Do you have any doubts about it? About them, actually?
No, I don't have any.
Okay. Mariana, do you have any?
No, it's okay.
Okay. Camila, could you please read this word for me?
Nasopharynx.
Okay, this first part of the word comes, well, it's related from nasal cavity, right? So we would be nasopharynx. Okay, could you please read it now?
Nasopharynx.
Yes, nasopharynx. Same concept here, oropharynx and hypopharynx, okay? Any other question here, guys? How about any other structure that are shown here?
It cricoid cartilage or what?
Cartilage. Okay. What about this structure here? Could you read it for me, please?
Arytenoid.
Retinite. Okay. Notice
Arytenoid.
in Spanish would be sílaba tónica. Pay attention to it, okay? Retinite. Same concept here. Cricoid, right? And trachea. So, how would you read this word?
Dysphagia.
Okay, would be dysphagia.
Dysphagia.
Okay. Mariana, what about you? Would you have any kind of question here?
Yes. Esophageal.
It's a
Okay.
phageal, okay?
Phageal. Okay.
So here we have the symptom, right? Is difficulty in swallowing, right? To swallow is to tragar, right? So dysphagia could be oropharyngeal dysphagia or esophageal dysphagia. Oropharyngeal dysphagia is related to higher or upper structures of the deglutition structures, right? And esophageal dysphagia is related to esophagus, right? When, for example, here this disease is achalasia, right? So this letter A means without, right? Does any of you guys know the meaning of chalacia? Just chalacia without the A, chalacia. Okay, achalasia means actually relaxation. Okay, so achalasia would mean without relaxation of some structure, which would be the lower esophageal sphincter. Okay, so let's go on. Do you have any doubts here? You're Camila and Mariana, right?
Yes, no question.
Okay. Okay, let's go on then. How would you pronounce this word?
Matthias.
Mucus.
Mucus.
Yes. Okay. Any other questions here, guys?
No, any question?
Okay. What about what does this PPI stands for? Any of you guys? What does PPI mean?
Proton pumps inhibitors.
Great. Yes, this is a family of drugs, right? Inhibits the proton pump, which is right here on the parietal cell. Great. Do you have any other questions? Mariana, do you have any?
I don't think so.
We already saw this. Any questions here about pronunciation or anything? Any of you guys? How would you read this?
Gallbladder.
Great, correct pronunciation. That is the trickiest, right? Then, well, here we already checked these words. Um, this one's also. Do you have any questions? Okay. What about here? This one, how would you read this cell? This word?
Pneumocytes.
Great, pneumocyte sounds the P like silent, right? Pneumocyte. Any other question, guys? This is kind of easy, right? What about today's class? Any question here?
No.
Okay. Mariana, do you have any question?
Well, about carbs,
Okay.
the image in the slide is, how do you pronounce that?
The whole word, right?
Yeah.
It would be carbohydrates.
Carbohydrates. Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Any other questions here, guys? Okay, let's go on. You know the meaning of this phrasal verb, right? To throw away something, right? That is no longer necessary for you, right? In this case, I wrote this this verb to, well, this is the through kidneys is the only way to get rid of nitrogen waste products, right? So any questions here, guys? I think you are the ones that have fewer doubts. You almost do have none. Do you have any kind of doubts here?
Well, yes, the one that is, it begins with M, malvage.
Sorry, I didn't catch it.
The one that is under renal law, I think you
Yes,
mean.
that one.
This one?
Yes.
Okay, it's a pyramids, right? Malpighi pyramids.
Malpighi.
Yes, you read about this, right? Your university classes.
Yeah. What does VAP stands for there?
Oh, this one. Okay,
Yeah.
this is a mnemonic. Okay, in Spanish would be memotecnia, right? This is a way to remember some things, especially in anatomy class. This mnemonic is actually a way to remember from the anterior to posterior structures. So VAP means the most anterior structures is the vein, the renal vein. The one in the middle would be the artery, the renal artery, and the posterior would be the pelvis, renal pelvis. So from anterior to posterior, there are vein, artery, and pelvis. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Any other doubts? How would you? Sorry, come again, please.
I don't have any other doubt.
Okay. How would you pronounce this word?
Medulla.
Medulla. Yes, great.
Medulla.
These structures, we're gonna see them later. What about this structure? This word, I mean.
Hydrostatic pressure.
Hydrostatic. Yes,
Hydrostatic.
yes, hydrostatic pressure. What about this word, Mariana? Some people were having problems with this one.
Lymphatic vessels.
It's vessels. Okay.
Yeah.
Vessels, but yes, it's correct. Lymphatic vessels. I think this is easy, right? Capillaries, metarterialized, venules, and arterialized. Okay. Here's none. Do you have any doubts here? Okay. What about here? This one. Okay, guys. This one, this word is tricky. Could Mariana please read it for me?
I really don't know how to pronounce it.
Okay, it would be convoluted.
Convoluted.
Okay, in Spanish would be túbulo contorneado proximal, right? In English, proximal convoluted tubule. Same concept here, right? And the rest is piece of cake. This one is just the way we call it in Spanish, right? Juxta. Notice the U is not an U. It's between an U and an O. It's juxta glomerular apparatus. That's the only kind of difficult part. What about this one? Does anybody have question? Okay. This is, you see, some people were having problems with this word. Camila, could you read this, please?
Urine.
Okay, urine. Okay. Some people also were having problems with units. Could you please read this, Camila?
Liters per day.
Yes, great. And now, please, you, Mariana, this one.
in milliliters per minute?
It's actually milliliters.
Milli.
Okay, per minute, right? I think that would be it. Do you have any other doubts? The last slides.
No, thanks.
Okay, so guys, tomorrow we're not having class, so I'll see you on Monday. Have a good weekend, okay? Have a good night.
Thank you. Have a
Thank
good
you.
night too.
Have a good
Okay.
night too.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Hello, Danita. How are you doing?
Hi.
I'm sorry for keeping you up so late.
Yeah, it's very late.
I'm so sorry. We're going to
No, no
finish this
problem.
quick, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so here we've been talking about some structures that you might have problem with. Do you have any questions here about pronunciation?
Atrium is the correct pronunciation?
Okay, it would be atrium, right? Atrium.
Atrium. Okay.
Could you read this, please?
Superior vena cava. Cava.
It would be superior vena cava.
Cava. Okay.
Okay.
Superior vena cava.
This one,
Tricuspid bulb.
it will be okay, tricuspid.
Okay. Tricuspid bulb.
And this one, the same concept.
Sorry, what is?
This one.
Okay. Mitral valve.
Yes, great. So we're going on. Do you have any questions here? It would be blood vessels, right? And since this expression is in plural, it would have to be carry, right? Not carries. There's a mistake here. So it would be carry blood because it's in plural, right?
Quarry blood.
Okay, here, do you have any questions here? How would you read this?
Parietal lie.
It would be parietal.
Parietal.
Yes.
Okay.
And this one?
Fibrous.
Great. I think that would be it here, right? What about this one? Could you read this for me?
Myocardium.
Great. This one?
Oh, I don't know.
It's just as if you were reading in Spanish. How would you read this in Spanish?
Spin.
Sorry?
Spin.
Here it says vessels, right?
Base.
Vessels. Vessels.
Vessel.
Yes, vessels. Okay.
Vessels.
What about this word?
Oh, deoxygenate. Oh, deoxygenated blood.
Deoxygenated.
deoxygenated.
Yes. And this word here?
Coronary sinus.
Great. The rest, you know, right? This would be try, as we said before. What about this one?
Chordae tendineae.
Would be cordia tendinea.
Cordia tendineae.
Okay. What about this one? Any doubts?
I don't see.
Really? I'm sharing my screen.
Oh, yeah. Pulmonary artery.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, no doubts here, right? What about this one? This is, how would you read this?
Arterial.
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 Okay. And this word on your right? It's hematosis.
Oh, I don't define. Okay, hematosis.
Okay. So same concept here. How would you read this?
Hemoglobin.
Hemoglobin. Yes. Okay. This is okay. This one you already said it, right? Mitral valve. Okay. Any questions here? I don't think so, right?
The before
This one?
is is backflow.
Yes, backflow. Backflow, well, it means that it would go back from the ventricle to the atrium, right? The blood would go back through the valve.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay. Anything here to ask about?
The pronunciation is veins.
Veins. Yeah, veins.
Okay.
Okay, and this one?
Venules.
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 Okay. Here, the word that might cause problems is this one, right? It's diastolic. Anything here?
Oh, cardiac output.
Yes, cardiac output. Okay. What about this word on your left? This one.
I don't know. Ejection.
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 Okay. What about this word?
Determines.
It's determines.
Determines.
Okay. The base form of this word is to determine. Okay. Since we're talking here in third person, which would be heart failure, the word would be determines. Okay.
Determines. Okay.
Here, anything?
I don't the point. I don't be the okay. Pressure.
Pressure. Pressure. Okay.
And diastolic pressure.
There's an S missing here, so the correct way to write it would be here. This one, pressure. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Any questions here?
Fimbriae is correct or no?
Fimbria.
Fimbria.
Yes, as if the A didn't exist, right? Fimbria. Okay. Any other questions here?
Is ovary,
ovarian,
ovarian,
ovarian ligament, ovary.
ovary, ovary. Ah, okay, okay, okay.
Okay. What could you read this word for me?
Uh, I don't know.
Okay. It would be uterus.
Uterus,
Yes. Yeah. As if the T
uterus,
would turn into a D. Okay. Uterus.
uterus. Okay.
Okay. Any other question here?
If the uterio fundus, is it correct?
Fundus.
Fundus.
Okay. What about this one? Cervical
Canal.
canal. Okay. As if you were reading
No.
it in Spanish.
Okay. And vagina is
It's actually vagina.
vagina.
Yes. Okay. What about this one? Could you read this for me?
Gonads.
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 Okay. This word, some people were having problems with this word.
Oh. Luteinizing hormone.
Luteinizing hormone.
Luteinizing hormone.
Okay. Any other questions here?
Is the gonadotropin releasing hormone? Is that correct?
Gonadotropin releasing hormone.
Releasing hormone.
Okay. Here, any questions about the pronunciation with these structures?
Yeah. Second. Is it
Yes, second.
second? And Gallbladder.
Okay. Gallbladder.
Gallbladder.
Gall,
Gallbladder.
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 Yes.
Gallbladder.
Okay. Any other questions here?
Is jejun?
Sorry?
Jejun?
Yes, jejunum.
Okay.
And this one would be ileum, okay? As if it was an I.
Yeah.
Ileum.
Ileum.
The stomach, it's not stomach, it's stomach between an A and an E, okay? Stomach.
So,
Could you read this for me?
nasopharynx.
Nasopharynx, great. Oropharynx and this one?
Hypopharynx.
Great. Those are the tricky ones. So how would you call this? How would you read this word?
Is dysphagia?
Dysphagia.
Dysphagia.
Okay. Any other questions here?
Oh, inner compression, outer compression,
Outer.
outer
Outer.
compression.
This means from the outside, external compression. Okay. And the opposite is inner, from
Outer.
the inside. Inside is inner compression, outer compression, the opposite.
And center diverticulus
Diverticulus.
and diverticulus.
Okay. What about this one? Do you have any doubts?
Chief cells.
Chief
Chief
cells.
cells.
Yes,
Chief
chief
cells.
cells.
And goblet cells. Goblet.
Yes, goblet. Just like that. Because, you know, in Spanish we have eponymous, right? Like a person names a structure or cell after his or her own name, right? This would be a goblet, a name, goblet cells, okay?
Okay.
Any other questions?
Hydrochloric acid,
Acid.
acid,
Yes.
acid. Okay.
Hydrochloric acid. Any other?
Precursor. Precursor.
I'm not sure. Oh, okay. This ASE is read as an ACE. Okay, so it would be protease.
Protein.
You know, in Spanish, we have this suffix, it would be asa, right? When we are talking about enzymes. So this would be protease precursor, okay?
Protease precursor. Okay.
Okay. Any kind of question here?
Um, is innovation?
About this one, right?
Yeah.
Or which one? Oh, this one.
Yeah.
Okay, it's inhibition.
Inhibition.
Yes. Here, for example, we have the proton pump inhibitor, right? Inhibidor de bomba de protones, right?
Okay.
Okay, so any other question here? Okay.
It's good.
This one we already saw, right? Well, what about this one?
Cystic duct.
Yes, cystic duct. And could you read this?
Gallplate.
Gallbladder.
Gallbladder.
Gallbladder, okay.
Gall-
Any other questions?
Is major duodenal papilla?
This one. Major
Yeah.
duodenal
Duodenal
papilla.
papilla. Okay. Major
Okay,
duodenal.
this one would be, we already saw this, right? Pharynx, larynx, epiglottis, trachea, bronchioli, bronchus, alveolus, right? This is almost the same. Bronchi, bronchial tree, lungs, and not the same. What about this one? How would you read this?
Pneumocyte.
Pneumocyte. You were fine.
Pneumocyte.
Okay. Any other questions here about pronunciation?
Is capillary?
Capillary.
Capillary.
Yes, great. What about this word down below?
Endothelium.
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 Okay. From today's class, do you have any doubts? How would you read this?
Carbohydrate.
Okay, carbohydrates. Okay. And we have this phrasal verb to get rid of, right? And what does it mean to get rid of something?
I forgot.
Okay, to get rid of something is to throw away something. Like you have garbage and you get rid of it by throwing it away, okay?
Okay.
So any questions about pronunciation here?
No, it's okay.
Okay. Could you read this for me?
Hydrostatic.
Yes, hydrostatic pressure. Great. Any doubts about this slide or this one?
No, it's okay.
Okay. What about this word? It's kind of tricky.
I don't know.
Okay, it's convoluted.
Convoluted. Convoluted?
Convoluted.
Convoluted.
Nope. Convoluted.
Convoluted. Loaded.
As if you had an I between the L and U. Convoluted.
Convoluted.
Okay, convoluted.
Convoluted. Oh.
Yes. Okay.
Oh.
In Spanish would be túbulo contorneado proximal, right?
Convoluted. Yeah.
Okay. So and this is just as in Spanish, right? Juxtaglomerular apparatus. It's almost the same. Here, do you have any question?
Yeah, this is my very afferent arterial and efferent arterial. What is the difference? I don't understand.
Okay. What year are you in the university?
Afferent arterial and efferent arterial.
Okay. Afferent arterial is the one that is going toward the malpighic corpuscle, and this is going out of it. Okay, this is going in, this one, the afferent, and the efferent is going out.
Yeah, but the pronunciation, what's the difference?
Okay, afferent arterioli, efferent arterioli.
Afferent arterial, efferent arterial,
Arterioli.
arterial. Oh, it's confused.
Yeah, it's kind of confusing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, do you have any other doubts here?
No, it's okay.
Okay, this is easy. So this is something that some people had problems with. Units. This is 140 liters per day, right? Could you read this for me?
Milliliters per minute.
Milliliters per minute.
Per minute.
Okay.
Milliliters per minute.
Milliliters, right? As in Spanish, milliliters per minute.
Milliliters
Okay,
per minute.
great.
Okay.
And the rest, well, do you have any other questions? We're almost done.
Is collecting
Duct.
collecting duct.
Okay, so we're done, right? Do you have any other question?
Is urine?
Okay, which word? This one, right?
Yeah.
It's urine.
Urine flow. Urine flow.
Urine flow, yeah.
No.
It means, well, it refers to its direction, right? It's going down. Urine direction. Yeah, that's it. Okay. Do you have any other doubts?
No, it's okay.
Okay, so I'll see you on Monday, okay?
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
I'm sorry for keeping you up this time, okay?
No, don't worry.
Okay, I'll see you on Monday. Have a good night's sleep. Bye.
See you.
Bye.